Imagine moving to a brand new city only for it to rain every single day, matching the gloomy state of your own life. Our poor heroine, Kai Tang, arrives at her front door soaking wet, but the chill from the rain is nothing compared to the cold reception waiting inside. Before she even turns the handle, she hears a woman's voice playfully flirting with her father. "Come, President Kai, I shall drink one more cup with you." Kai Tang takes a deep breath, looking absolutely exhausted by her own existence. She walks into a living room littered with empty wine bottles and trash, only to find her father lounging on the couch with a woman half his age. Our girl just stands there in her damp hoodie, a silent ghost in her own home. Her father doesn't ask if she's okay or if she's eaten. Instead, he glares at her with icy eyes. "What are you doing here? Do you want money?" He snaps as if his daughter is nothing more than a common beggar. Kai Tang doesn't flinch, her voice steady as she delivers her ultimatum. "I want to stay in the school's dormitory. I'm here to pack my things." The mistress leans in, mocking our heroine while her father huffs. "What nonsense, so annoying." He doesn't even try to stop her, he just checks his phone and sneers. "I've transferred you the money, pack your things and get lost." Kai Tang doesn't say a word, she just puts in her earbuds and turns her back on the wreckage of her family. As she walks away, her father's voice booms behind her. "What kind of attitude is that? You deserve to be scolded." The door slams shut with a heavy bang, punctuating the end of her life in that house. Standing alone in her room, our tiny nugget finally lets the mask slip, whispering, "This house makes people feel disgusted." She packs her entire life into one suitcase and heads for the school dorms, hoping for a fresh start. But life is never that easy, is it? As she walks through the halls, she hears a group of girls gossiping like total vultures. They're laughing at a girl named Yuyu, calling her miserable because she's too poor to buy shampoo or even throw away worn-out shoes. Kai Tang rolls her eyes, thinking, "This person's so annoying," as she finds her new room 301. When she opens the door, she realizes the spoiled girls have already taken over, leaving the cabinet stuffed to the brim with their expensive makeup and junk. Just then, a quiet girl with a long braid walks in. This is Yuyu, the girl the others were just mocking. Kai Tang doesn't play games. She points to the cabinet and demands, "Whose stuff is this? Take them away." When she realizes the stuff belongs to the leader of the gossip squad, Kai Tang decides to be a total savage. She grabs the girls' headbands and bottles and starts tossing them onto a desk like they're literal trash. "What is the meaning of this?" The girl shrieks as she walks in, but our heroine just gives her a deadpan stare. The girl tries to play the victim, whining that she only borrowed the cabinet, but Kai Tang isn't buying the act. She slams a bottle down and asks with terrifying calm, "Are you done?" The bullies are stunned into silence as Kai Tang grabs her things to head to the showers. Behind her back, they hiss, "Originally, there was a freak in our dormitory, but now there is another spoiled brat." Yuyu the freak just sits silently at her desk, used to the abuse. Later that night, the dorm goes dark, but Kai Tang can't sleep. Kai Tang heads to the bathroom and notices something heartbreaking. The atmosphere is freezing. She realizes Yuyu is taking a shower with ice-cold water because she doesn't have a hot water card. Our heroine watches a single drop of water fall, realizing that behind Yuyu's freakish silence is a girl struggling just to survive. She took a shower with cold water. Kai Tang thinks her heart's starting to ache for her roommate. The next day at PE, the sun is scorching and Kai Tang is struggling with a massive stomach ache. A loud-mouthed boy named Wang Jiayong starts clapping and cheering for her, shouting, "Kai Tang, run faster." It's super embarrassing and our girl just wants to vanish into the track. She's dizzy and pale, but the other girls just want to gossip about how the handsome Wang Jiayong must have a crush on her. Kai Tang snaps at them to go after him themselves if they like him so much and walks away, feeling like she's about to collapse. She's sitting alone on the bleachers, clutching her stomach when a shadow falls over her. "Do you want some hot water?" a soft voice asks. Even though she has nothing, she's the only one who noticed Kai Tang was hurting. She sets the water down and quietly runs back to her laps, leaving our heroine stunned by this small act of kindness. Kai Tang looks at the steaming cup, a small smile finally tugging at her lips. But the peace doesn't last long. Back in the classroom, a love letter is found under Wang Jiayong's desk. The boys start hooting and hollering, making a huge scene as they wave the pink paper around. Wang Jiayong plays it up for the crowd, mocking the letter. He walks over to the class monitor, who happens to be Yuyu, and tries to return it in front of everyone. "I didn't write that," Yuyu says, her voice trembling. The boy points to her name written on the paper, laughing. "Your name is written right here, it's impossible to deny it." The whole class erupts into cruel laughter, calling her brazen and embarrassing. Yuyu looks like she's standing on the edge of a cliff, completely alone. But then Kai Tang stands up, the music in her earbuds drowning out their insults. With a heart of stone and a gaze like fire, she marches over. Before the boy can say another word, Kai Tang snatches the letter right out of his hand, ready to show this classroom exactly what happens when you mess with her roommate. "Write your own name," Kai Tang says, dropping the hammer on a girl who clearly doesn't know who she's messing with. She tells the girl to stop using other people's names to pull stunts. "It wasn't me." The girl cries, playing the victim, but Kai Tang isn't having it and points directly to the evidence hidden in her drawer. I advise you to be smarter next time you try to frame someone, she adds, her voice dripping with ice. Of course, the classic "it's just a joke" squad jumps in, demanding our girl apologize to the liar. Then this guy has the audacity to ask if she's acting out because she's jealous of his love letters. Do you dislike others liking me? He asks with a smirk. Kai Tang gives him the ultimate "are you done?" look, basically telling him to touch grass. The teacher suggests she sit with the quietest, most studious girl in class, Yuyu. It's a rainy day at school, but the vibe at their new shared desk is surprisingly peaceful. While Yuyu works herself to the bone, Kai Tang finds the rhythmic sound of her pen oddly comforting. She even tries to play the secret guardian, sliding her notebook over to help Yuyu with the tough questions. But later, she overhears the snakes in the hallway laughing about Yuyu's unlucky accident. She finds Yuyu alone in the bathroom, staring at a massive tea stain on her shirt. It's in this moment our girl realizes why Yuyu never takes her jacket off, even in the heat. She's hiding the fact that she's too poor to even afford the basics. Without a second thought, Kai Tang strips off her own jacket. "Wear this," she commands, handing it over. Back in class, the mean girl is still running her mouth, mocking Yuyu's ragged clothes. "Say that again," Kai Tang threatens, looking like she's 2 seconds away from choosing violence. Yuyu eventually returns, having fished her own jacket out of the trash, and she's so calm it actually unnerves the bullies. It's official, the ice is melting between these two as they start sharing notes for real. Even if our girl is still dying of embarrassment after getting a math question wrong right in front of her new friend. She tries to hide her notebook in a panic, but Yuyu definitely saw her mistake. Kai Tang walks into a literal disaster zone. The air is thick with smoke and the stench of her father's uninvited guests. How come you're back?" One of them asks, as if she's the intruder in her own home. The guys are just lounging around, treating her living room like a cheap casino. "Continue, don't stop the game," one yells, completely ignoring her glare. "Our girl is done. I'm on break," she snaps, her patience thinner than a sheet of paper. She just wants to hide in her room and forget this family exists. But when she opens her door, her jaw hits the floor. There's some random woman sleeping in her bed. Kai Tang storms back downstairs, her blood boiling. "Why is there someone sleeping in my room?" she demands. Her father doesn't even look up from his cards. Liu was sleepy and wanted to take a nap while you weren't home," he says, like it's the most normal thing in the world. What's so wrong about that? Kai Tang isn't having it. "If you're bringing indecency into bed, why don't you bring it into your own?" she screams. "Why do you have to discuss me instead?" That was the wrong move. Her father slams the table, cards flying everywhere. "How dare you raise your voice at your father?" he growls, raising his hand to strike. Outside, the sky breaks open, mirroring the storm inside her house. Our poor heroine ends up on a park bench, getting absolutely drenched. "Where should I go?" she whispers, watching happy people pass by with their umbrellas. She has nowhere to call home. But then a thought of the only person who might understand her flickers in her mind. Yuyu. Wait, is she actually doing this? Kai Tang finds herself standing in a lingerie shop, feeling like a total creep. I must be going crazy, she thinks, staring at the rows of bras. The clerk asks what size she's looking for, and Kai Tang literally has to guesstimate with her hands like a weirdo. "Oh, you're buying for your sister?" the clerk asks. Our girl just blushes and nods, wanting the ground to swallow her whole. She trudges back to the dorms, clutching the pink shopping bag like it's a lifeline. She remembers how Yuyu always looks so small and fragile while studying. She knocks on the door, shivering. "It's me, Kai Tang," she says, sounding like a wet cat. When Yuyu opens the door, she's horrified to see Kai Tang looking like she just swam across the ocean. The dorms have no hot water during the break, but Yuyu offers her small stash. Kai Tang is too stubborn for her own good. "I'll take a cold shower," she insists. Big mistake, she's in there literally vibrating from the cold. But then a soft knock. Yuyu left a thermos of hot water outside the door. Our girl is actually touched. Once she's dry and feeling slightly more human, Kai Tang decides it's time for the awkward handover. "This is for you," she says, thrusting the bag at Yuyu. Yuyu opens it and stares at the pink plaid bra in total shock. "You, for me, why?" she stammers, her face turning beet red. Kai Tang plays it cool, or tries to. "Just seeing you wearing the school jacket in the summer makes me feel stuffy," she grumbles. "If you don't want it, throw it away." As Kai Tang pretends to sleep, Yuyu clutches the gift to her chest, a tiny smile forming. "Thank you, Kai Tang," she whispers. She even leans over to gently cover our girl with a blanket. For the first time in a long time, they both feel like they have a place where they belong. The next morning, the karma of that cold shower hits hard. Kai Tang has a massive fever. Yuyu is frantic, telling the faculty she'll take care of her. She even skips her tutoring sessions just to make sure our girl is okay. She decides Kai Tang needs something better than steamed buns, so she goes out to find some porridge. When Kai Tang wakes up, she sees the medicine and the warm porridge waiting for her. She knows Yuyu is broke, yet she spent her precious money on this. Did she deliberately go out to buy it? She wonders, her heart melting faster than an ice cube in the sun, even though the medicine is bitter. The kindness is sweet. She downs every drop of that porridge, determined to get even for last night's favor. Night falls and the fever makes Kai Tang a nightmare of a sleeper. She's shrugging off the covers and kicking like a mule in her sleep. Every single time, Yuyu is right there, patiently tucking her back in. I won't cover up, Kai Tang grumbles in her delirium. Yuyu just sighs, checking her forehead with a gentle hand. Wanna go to the doctor? She asks softly. But Kai Tang just swaddles herself back into a burrito. Over the next few days, Yuyu is the ultimate nurse until our girl finally recovers. They settle into a quiet, comfortable rhythm. Kai Tang listens to music while Yuyu studies, an unspoken bond forming between them. But the peace is shattered when Kai Tang's phone vibrates. It's a message from her dad with some money. To anyone else, it's a gift, but to her, it's just a reminder of the man who told her she was nothing more than a bank account. Kai Tang looks at Yuyu and asks the question that's been bugging her. Did you really not have enough money to buy a bra? Yuyu's answer is heartbreaking. Her family stole all her scholarship money, thousands of dollars, leaving her with nothing. She escaped to the school with only $10 in her pocket, yet here she is, smiling and full of hope for the future. I know I'll be even more happy in the future, she says. Kai Tang is floored. She realizes Yuyu is so much stronger and more determined than she could ever be. And in the dark of the dorm room, Yuyu thinks the same of her, remembering how Kai Tang was the only one brave enough to stand up for her. They're both different from the rest, and finally they've found each other. I've already memorized them, so I don't need to reread them, Yuyu says calmly. Our girl Kai Tang can barely believe it, asking how many times she even read the material. Yuyu just shrugs and says twice, before perfectly reciting a massive block of political history that would make a professor's head spin. Kai Tang can only stare in awe at her brilliant, smiling friend. After the exam, the rest of the class is busy crying about how difficult the questions were. When a classmate asks how she did, Yuyu simply replies, I think I did pretty good. This immediately triggers the class busybody, Zhao Rongrong, who tells them to keep quiet. I think you should stop distracting Yuyu from her studies. Zhao snaps, adjusting her glasses with maximum attitude. She even threatens that if Yuyu's grades fall, the homeroom teacher will be coming for Kai Tang. Kai Tang isn't about to take that lying down and tells her, you're quite nosy. She points out that they're just chatting and it won't affect anything, so Zhao can just relax. Then she drops the ultimate burn. Even if her studies were affected, she'd still score better than you. As the mean girl stomps off, Kai Tang sighs that the whole thing was boring and slides a note over to Yuyu. The note is surprisingly sweet, saying, don't listen to her. I don't like talking to others, but you're different. Kai Tang starts scribbling again, looking quite pleased with herself. She adds a second note calling Zhao Rongrong an idiot and wondering why there are so many of them in their class. The two girls can't help but giggle together, completely ignoring the haters. When the results are finally posted, it's no surprise that Yuyu ended up in first place again. Kai Tang is secretly beaming with pride, but when a classmate calls her out on it, she gets defensive. Which eye of yours saw that I was happy? She demands, even though she's clearly glowing. However, looking at her own exam script makes her want to stomp on a drawing of herself in frustration. Yuyu notices her friend's struggle and offers to explain the problems. Kai Tang is currently in her feelings and sulks, I won't listen. Our patient heroine just smiles and tells her to let her know when she feels like listening. Kai Tang tries to study on her own, but after a few minutes of her brain melting, she finally looks up and admits she's ready to listen. They settle into a rhythm, but Kai Tang catches Zhao Rongrong eavesdropping again. Which rabbit has pricked up its ears to listen in on others' conversation? She mocks. Zhao turns bright red and scurries away, leaving our favorite duo to study in peace as the sun sets on the classroom. Later, Kai Tang thanks Yuyu for her time, but Yuyu insists it wasn't a waste. If you feel happy doing something, then no matter how much time you spend on it, it's not a waste. She explains with a smile that could melt ice. Kai Tang needs a break from all this wholesomeness and heads to the bathroom. When she returns, she finds a beautiful autumn leaf and drops it on Yuyu's desk as a little gift. Do you want it? She asks, and Yuyu happily accepts. The piece is broken when the sports committee member, Feng Ruibai, reminds the class about the upcoming competition. No one wants to sign up for the grueling 3 km race. A girl named Luo Jingli suggests Kai Tang should do it because she fights people, so she must be able to run. Then she targets Yuyu, saying since she's from a remote mountain village, she must be used to walking long distances. To everyone's shock, Yuyu calmly agrees to sign up. Kai Tang is livid that her friend just accepted such a burden. When the committee member asks if Kai Tang wants to run too, she snaps, run my ass, I'm doing the long jump. The drama follows them back to the dorms, where Kai Tang overhears Luo Jingli gossiping about Yuyu finally buying new shoes because her old ones were stinky as hell. Kai Tang reaches her breaking point. She walks in and dumps a bottle of water right in front of the mean girl. Every time I hear you say these things, it makes me want to just hit you, Kai Tang growls. She points out that Yuyu washes her shoes every week, unlike Luo, whose dirty shoes are piling up under her bed. Who has a dirtier mouth than you? She asks before throwing the empty bottle at her. That night, Kai Tang is confronted by Luo's boyfriend, who accuses her of bullying his girlfriend. Kai Tang isn't intimidated at all. You two sure are a match, she sneers. He warns her not to go too far, but Kai Tang gets right in his face. I'll also warn you, if your dumb best girlfriend targets Yuyu for no reason again, I'll throw her along with her shoes, she screams. Little does she know, Yuyu is standing right there on the stairs, having seen her friend go to war for her honor. Under the cover of night, our girl is pushing her limits on the track, determined to conquer the upcoming sports meet. She's not alone, though, as her studious partner joins the late-night grind. When asked why she's still out here, she explains that the grueling 3,000-meter race is no joke, and she needs every bit of practice she can get. But wait, is she talking to herself? I'm reciting, she explains, proving that she's a literal machine who practices English speaking while sprinting. Even without music to keep her tempo because her phone died, she's locked in. The big day finally arrives, and the campus is buzzing with the electric energy of sports day. Amidst the sea of blue tracksuits, our heroine tries to find her focus under the blazing sun. In the middle of the crowded chaos, she accidentally loses her footing and steps right on someone's pristine white shoe. She's ready to apologize profusely, but her heart skips a beat when she realizes it's her favorite person, Yuyu, who just gives her a gentle smile and says it's okay. There's no time to linger on the romance because Kai Tang is called to the long jump pit. With Yuyu watching from the sidelines, the pressure is on. She takes a deep breath, hits the sprint, and launches herself into the air like she's trying to reach the clouds. She sticks the landing perfectly, and the crowd goes wild, calling her a total beast. But the real challenge is just beginning as the 3,000-meter runners are called to the track. Yuyu is struggling, falling further and further behind the lead pack. Kai Tang can't just sit there. She follows along the inner field, shouting at the top of her lungs for Yuyu to keep going. Yuyu is offered water, but she barely has the strength to take it, her eyes fixed solely on the finish line. It's the final lap, and the atmosphere is suffocating. Run, Yuyu, Kai Tang screams, her voice filled with desperate encouragement. Something clicks in Yuyu's head, and she finds a hidden gear, her legs pumping as she begins to close the gap. It's a photo finish. Class 5 claims the victory, though the students are arguing it was so close it should have been a tie. Yuyu is absolutely spent, gasping for air, but the result is final. They actually took first place. The bonus points are in the bag, and the two of them share a quiet, victorious moment amidst the falling confetti. Fast forward to a cozy future, and the two are lounging on the sofa together. Yuyu admits that even back then, she loved that footprint on her shoe because it was a mark left by Kai Tang. Our girl is totally flustered, wondering how someone could be happy about a dirty shoe, but Yuyu just gives her that look that says everything. Back in the past, as the sports meet winds down and autumn settles over the school, the vibe shifts to the classroom. But there's a problem. The ginkgo trees outside are dropping nuts, and the smell is absolutely biohazardous. Kai Tang is gagging, complaining that it stinks to high heaven. Yuyu, ever the stoic, is just sniffing her own sleeve to make sure she's not the source of the funk. I'm talking about the trees, not you. Kai Tang snaps, though she still finds a way to call Yuyu a spoiled princess for putting on a mask to survive the stench. Eventually, the smell vanishes, and Yuyu notices the trees have been cleared. Apparently, the lunch lady gathered all those stinky nuts to make soup. Kai Tang is visibly revolted, swearing on her life that she would never, ever touch such a stinky child's play of a soup. Cut back to the future, where adult Yuyu is serving up a delicious-looking meal. Kai Tang is absolutely inhaling the soup, praising how tasty it is and cleaning the bowl. She asks what kind of soup it was, and Yuyu drops the bombshell with a smirk. Ginkgo nut soup. Our girl literally turns to stone as she remembers her high school vow. Never say never, girl, especially when your wife is the one doing the cooking. Back at the dorms, our girl Chireng is playing Secret Santa with the utilities. She notices Youyu hasn't been using the hot water, so she accidentally leaves her heating card in the machine to make sure her friend doesn't freeze. It's officially winter, and Chireng is literally huffing just to stay warm in the middle of class. She notices the window next to Youyu is broken, letting in a draft that would turn anyone into a popsicle. Our heroine worries that Youyu is wearing clothes that are way too thin, wondering if she even owns a proper coat. She considers buying her one, but she knows Youyu is too proud and would just stress about how to pay her back. Chireng comes up with a 200 IQ play. She demands to switch seats, claiming she suddenly wants the window seat. Youyu just shrugs and goes along with the request. Later that night, the truth comes out when Youyu finds the heating card left behind yet again. She realizes Chireng wasn't being a brat, she was being a literal guardian angel trying to keep her warm. When Youyu confronts her, Chireng tries to play it off like she's just a total airhead who keeps forgetting her card. Youyu can't help but smile at how adorable her friend's secret concern is. She reaches out and tells Chireng to touch her hand. Our girl is blushing hard as she realizes just how warm Yaoyu's hands actually are. The next day, Chireng is shocked to find that the broken window has been magically repaired and sealed tight. Turns out Youyu, the culprit, stayed behind to fix it herself. As the snow starts to fall outside, the teacher is busy barking about final exams and the upcoming Chinese New Year holidays. Chireng is deep in her feelings, thinking about how her divorced parents probably won't even bother to look at her grades. Youyu tries to help her study by offering some notes, but our girl is feeling a bit stubborn. Chitang tries to lighten the mood by quoting a meme about how math will never betray you, which actually gets a rare, genuine laugh out of Youyu. Then comes the Lantern Festival party, and the classroom is decorated with balloons and streamers. The whole class is buzzing as they move desks and prep for snacks. Chitang tries to get Youyu to go up and sing, but Youyu quickly shuts that down, claiming she doesn't know how. They're sitting together sharing oranges, and finally having a peaceful moment when the ultimate vibe killer appears at the door. It's Yaoyu's father, and he looks absolutely unhinged. He starts screaming at her and calls her a B*TCH right in front of the entire class. He tries to aggressively drag her away, but Youyu stands her ground, shouting that she's staying there to study. This absolute monster of a man actually slaps her across the face in front of everyone. Chitang isn't having any of it. Let go of her, she screams before slamming a heavy book right into the guy's face to stun him. The man yells that he's her father and she has to come home to serve the family, but Chitang delivers a solid kick to his gut to give them an opening. A girl grabs Yaoyu's hand and they bolt out of the classroom like their lives depend on it. As they sprint through the hallways, Youyu finally breaks down in tears. She remembers all the horrible things he said to her, how she's only useful for taking care of her little brother or giving him money for lottery tickets. They finally stop at a park as the snow continues to fall. Chitang gently tries to comfort her, pacing back and forth before offering Youyu a peeled orange to help her calm down. Youyu takes it, her eyes red and puffy from crying. Sitting together on that lonely bench in the freezing night, Youyu finally whispers, "Thank you, it's very sweet." The teacher announces the results, and big surprise, our poor heroine Yuyu is at the top of the class yet again. Tang looks over at her friend's paper, and for the first time in forever, she actually catches a tiny, genuine smile on Yuyu's face. It's a New Year's miracle, and Tang can't help but feel a little proud since her own grades have skyrocketed thanks to Yuyu's tutoring. But the festive mood hits a speed bump when the teacher calls Yuyu up to the front. Because her deadbeat father has been making scenes at the school, the teacher offers her a place to stay over the holidays so she doesn't have to go home to that nightmare. Yuyu tells our girl the news as they pack up, and Tang is genuinely relieved. "I'll see you next year then," Tang says, waving goodbye as they head off for the break. Little did she know, their vacation was about to take a massive detour. Tang heads back to her own neighborhood, watching happy families prepare for the new year and feeling like a total outsider. She's planning to spend the holiday alone with some sad dumplings. But life has other plans. She hears a familiar, annoying voice shouting her name. It's her mother. And trust me, this woman is a piece of work. She immediately starts complaining about how old-fashioned the house is and how the furniture is basically a crime against fashion. "Go pour your mother a glass of water," she demands, acting like she's checking into a five-star hotel instead of visiting her daughter. This woman doesn't even know what grade Tang is in. Before the water even gets cold, her phone dings, her boyfriend is outside, and she's out the door. It's a brutal flashback to when her parents divorced. Her mom literally told her she wasn't convenient to live with because her boyfriend didn't like kids. As if that wasn't enough drama, her dad shows up and starts a shouting match with the ex-wife right in the street. He turns his toxic energy on Tang, accusing her of being a thief just like her mother. Fed up with the absolute trash fire that is her family, Tang walks away. She ends up at a convenience store looking for some comfort food. She's mid-snack when she spots a familiar braid. It's Yuyu. Wait, wasn't she supposed to be at the teacher's house? Yuyu admits she moved out because she didn't want to be a burden and has been living in the back of the shop. Our girl isn't having it. She throws her trash aside and reaches out her hand. "Come with me," she commands, her eyes full of determination. "I'll help you find a place to hide." Yuyu is stunned, but she takes the hand. Tang isn't just offering a room, she's offering an escape. They hop on a bus headed for Pengning County, traveling through the night toward a vacant house that belonged to Tang's late grandmother. Nobody will find them there. As they sit side by side on the bus, Tang notices Yuyu looking nervous and gently takes her hand to ground her. They arrive in the quiet town under the cover of darkness. Tang shows Yuyu her phone. She's been saving up, and they have more than enough to survive the winter break without anyone's help. "I promise you won't die of starvation," Tang jokes, and Yuyu can only stare at her, wondering how she got so lucky to have a friend like this. They finally find the old house, and luckily the power is still on. It's dusty and neglected, but it's theirs. They spend the night scrubbing floors and yanking heavy sheets over the bed until they are both absolutely spent. Collapsing onto the freshly made bed, they share a quiet moment of peace. Later that night, they head out to a local mart to grab some supplies. As they walk back, the sky explodes with New Year's fireworks. The first flakes of snow begin to fall, dusting their hair as they stand together in the cold. For the first time in a long time, neither of them feels alone. They've traded their toxic families for a quiet house and each other, and honestly, it's the best New Year's gift they could have asked for. As the cold sets in, Tang turns on the heater to keep the room cozy. Our poor heroine stares out at the falling snow, but the peace is shattered by a sudden notification. It's a message from her family, and it's absolutely toxic. If you don't come back now, don't ever come back. She immediately lowers the volume, sweating bullets as the pressure mounts. Kai Tang asks if she's going back, but our girl has finally had enough. I'm not, she declares, climbing back into the safety of the blankets. As fireworks explode across the night sky, they lie together in silence, but our heroine's mind is miles away. She begins to open up about her heartbreaking past, revealing that when her parents divorced, they didn't fight because they wanted her. They were fighting because they didn't want me, she whispers. Her mother gave her money just to shove her off on her father, and her father loathed her simply because he wanted a son. He only kept her around because an illness meant he couldn't have any more children, blaming her every time he drank for not being a boy. Tears stream down her face as she asks the question that's haunted her forever. If you didn't want me, why did you even give birth to me? Seeing her bestie falling apart, Kai Tang doesn't hesitate, grabbing a tissue to gently wipe away those painful tears. She promises our girl that things will change. Wait until we come of age, then we can make money to take care of ourselves, she says, offering a glimmer of hope for a future far away from their trash families. Our heroine finally drifts off to sleep, touched that Kai Tang is trying to comfort her even though her own life is just as messy. The next morning is the eve of the Chinese New Year, and Kai Tang is already a cleaning whirlwind. She's so focused on making the place spotless that she warns our girl not to even lean on the door frame because she hasn't scrubbed it yet. After a morning of hard work, they head out into the snow to grab some groceries and find a place to eat. They end up back at the apartment, boiling dumplings and watching the New Year's program together. Our girl finds Kai Tang's commentary way more entertaining than anything on the screen. It's the first New Year's Eve they've ever spent together, and it feels like the start of something real. We even get a miniskit of Kai Tang's cleaning obsession, where she's literally scrubbing under the bed and dusting the ceiling lights while our girl just sighs in the background. But seeing the house sparkle makes everything feel a bit more reassuring. Later, they hit up a BBQ stand, and our heroine is determined to treat her friend. She brings over some beers, telling the top student that one won't hurt her. Kai Tang is skeptical, complaining that the beer is too cold for this weather and insisting on drinking the cold one herself so our girl can have a warmer one. She takes a sip, thinking it tastes just like water and wondering why it's so expensive. The food arrives, and they have a blast feeding each other delicious skewers. Our girl is so satisfied that she finally got to take Kai Tang out for a proper meal. When it comes time to pay, Kai Tang tries to sneak a look at the bill, but our heroine goes full mom mode. Don't think about secretly noting the check and paying me back after, she scolds. As they walk home under the bright moonlight, our girl calls her Yuyu. Kai Tang reveals that she didn't even have a real name when she was little, and the one she eventually chose, Yuyu, used a character that meant unnecessary. But now, when our heroine calls her Yuyu, it sounds like the word for fish instead. To her, being a fish is way better than being unnecessary. Back at the apartment, reality finally sets in. Kai Tang is diligently working on her winter break homework, while our girl is glued to her phone. Heh, I never do homework during New Year's, she brags, focused on her game. But while she's busy gaming, Kai Tang is steady scratching away at her assignments. Suddenly, the game over screen flashes on her phone, and our girl realizes she might be in big trouble when school starts. The night air is crisp as the city lights reflect off the calm water. Faster, faster, our girl urges, practically dragging her friend along the sidewalk. They're a blur of movement, hands locked tight as they race through the evening streets. They eventually duck into a brightly lit clothing store to escape the chill. Our girl scans the racks and pulls out a stylish white puffer coat. "This looks nice on you," she says, holding it up with a grin. Before her friend can protest, she's already wrapping her up in the thick material. "Wear this, you're going to freeze if you wear less clothes now during winter," she insists, fussing over the collar like a worried mother hen. She makes sure her friend is completely bundled up and cozy. Her friend can only offer a soft okay, blushing as the warmth of the coat and the gesture hits her. There's a sweet, lingering moment as their hands touch, the air between them suddenly feeling much warmer than the winter outside. But you can't have a night out without snacks. They head to a street food stall, ordering a delicious-looking lotus root skewer. The steam rises from the grill as they get their treats in paper cups. "Here, try it," our girl says, offering a bite, but her friend shakes her head. "I'm full," she groans. She looks so stuffed that a tiny chibai ghost of her appetite is practically escaping her mouth. Our girl just sighs to herself. She knows her friend buys way too much but eats like a bird, leaving her to finish all the leftovers. They enjoy their skewers in peaceful silence. Our girl watches her friend nibble on her food. She notices how delicate and thin her friend's hands are. She silently vows to bring her out to eat more often. She needs to put some weight on that skinny frame. Suddenly, a massive asterisk bang asterisk echoes through the air. Fireworks erupt in a shower of gold and purple above the city skyline. They stand side by side, the colorful explosions reflecting in their wide eyes. In the glow of the light, they steal glances at each other, the moment feeling incredibly intimate. As the last of the big fireworks fade into the night, the silence returns. Do you want to release a firework? Our girl asks. Her friend looks hesitant at first, suggesting they just go back. But our girl sees that sparkle of interest in her eyes. Wait here, I'll go buy it, she shouts, sprinting off before her friend can even say no. She returns with a handful of sparklers. They stand together, the small sparks hissing and glowing against the darkness. Her friend's face lights up with pure, genuine joy. Our girl waves hers in a circle, creating a halo of light. Quick, light yours, it's going to extinguish, she laughs. They press the tips together, passing the flame from one to the other. They look like two kids again, laughing and playing in the dark. You were saying you didn't want to play earlier, but looking at you now, you're delighted, our girl teases. Is it fun, she asks. With a bright smile, her friend admits a yes. She holds our girl's hand tight, confessing that she only said no because she didn't dare to admit how much she actually wanted to play. They spend the rest of the night running down the empty streets, sparklers held high like torches of freedom. Later, a different kind of emergency strikes. Her friend's period arrives earlier than expected, and our girl has to dash out to the store. She runs through the quiet residential streets, but as the night grows stiller, she starts to feel uneasy. Asterisk step step, asterisk the sound of footsteps follows her. She picks up the pace, her heart hammering against her ribs. She glances back, catching sight of a shadow. This person won't follow me in, right? She worries as she ducks into a convenience store. She quickly grabs what she needs, but she's not taking any chances for the walk back. She scans the aisles and grabs a mop. Armed with her new weapon, she asks the cashier if they saw anyone outside. There was a man, he left after waiting for a bit, the cashier confirms. Our girl exhales a breath of pure relief. When she finally gets home, her friend is baffled. Hey, why'd you buy a mop and keep it here? Our girl sits on the couch, exhausted. There was a stalker on the street, so I bought it as a weapon for self-defense. Her friend is horrified. What? Our girl tries to play it cool, saying it's not the first time it's happened. But her friend isn't having it. She puts a comforting hand on her shoulder. This is a scary situation, you need to be more careful, she warns, looking even more terrified than our girl is. As the holidays come to an end, they share a quiet meal of Tang Yuan. The reality of their situation starts to set in as they prepare to go back to their normal lives. Our girl mentions that she called their homeroom teacher and confirmed that her friend's dad left early. The plan is for her friend to move directly into the teacher's house for safety. Then what about you? Are you going to go home? Her friend asks, worried. Our girl tries to be brave. Of course I will. Her friend is hesitant, but our girl reassures her that her dad is used to her running away. Even if he's angry, he won't actually kill her. Eat the Tang Yuan before it goes cold, she says, patting her friend's hand. But the mood is heavy. Is it really okay? Her friend whispers. The next morning, a light dusting of snow covers the trees. They walk together with their backpacks, the winter air feeling heavy with the coming separation. They talk about the future, wondering when the loquats will be ready to eat, around 4 or 5 months from now. They both look up at the clear blue sky, realizing that their little holiday escape is officially over. On the bus ride back, the atmosphere is somber. A girl looks out the window, her face hidden in her high collar. Her friend watches her, wondering, what should I do to cheer her up? She realizes that our girl isn't like other people. She doesn't care about flashy things. All she wants is to study and earn enough to support herself. Looking at her friend's sad profile, she realizes with a heavy heart that our girl doesn't seem to want anything else in the world. Our girl Yuyu is sitting in class, but her mind is miles away. She's staring at the empty seat beside her, biting her lip as she wonders why her desk mate hasn't shown up yet. The clock is ticking, and she's practically vibrating with anxiety. As suddenly, the door swishes open. A figure bundled in a heavy hoodie and a face mask trudges in, looking like they're trying to vanish into thin air. Yuyu's eyes widen, it's her. She lets out a breath she didn't know she was holding, thinking, it's good that she's here now. But as Kai Tang sits down, Yuyu notices something is very wrong. She can't stop staring, and Kai Tang starts to get prickly. What is it? You can't recognize me after 2 days? She snaps, her voice muffled by the mask. Our heroine doesn't say a word. She just reaches out and gently pulls the mask down. Kai Tang doesn't fight it, sighing, if you want to look, then look. The mask drops, revealing a nasty bruise blooming on her cheek. You got hit, Yuyu whispers, her heart breaking. Kai Tang just shrugs like it's nothing. It's just one punch, no big deal, she says coldly. It's not like it's the first time my dad has hit me. Yuyu is devastated and apologizes, but Kai Tang isn't looking for pity. She asks what anyone could even do anyway, beat her dad up. Then she drops a bombshell with a smirk. No thanks, I already punched him back. Class starts, but the tension is thick. Kai Tang is totally checked out, staring into space. Yuyu slides a note over that simply says, listen to class. Kai Tang is baffled. Usually it's the top student nagging her, not this quiet girl. Later that afternoon, Yuyu brings out some ointment. Kai Tang refuses, whining that the more she puts on, the worse it looks. That's when our girl proves she's a real one. I'll put it on with you, Yuyu says firmly. Kai Tang is confused. Yuyu isn't even hurt. Kai Tang warns her that people will laugh and say they got into a fight together. But our heroine doesn't blink. I'm not afraid of being laughed at, she declares. She's dead serious. Kai Tang finally gives in, thinking this girl is even more extreme than she is. Cut to the most iconic scene. Both girls sitting in class with matching red blotches of medicine on their faces. The teacher looks over, completely done with their nonsense. "You two come to my office after class," he barks. In the office, the teacher actually surprises them. Instead of a lecture on fighting, he tells Yuyu to help Kai Tang with her grades this semester. Kai Tang thinks studying is the most annoying thing on earth, but the teacher gives a whole speech about how learning changes your life. Back in class, Kai Tang is waiting for the lecture. She's literally leaning over, waiting for Yuyu to start nagging her to study. When the silence continues, she can't take it. "Yuyu, why aren't you nagging me?" she demands. Our girl looks at her with the softest expression. "I've thought about it," she says. "You don't have to study, I'll study for you. When I get a job in the future, I'll take care of you." Kai Tang is absolutely floored, her face turning a bright shade of pink. To break the romantic tension, she jokes, "So you mean you want to be my dad?" But drama is always brewing in the dorms. A jealous girl is watching them like a hawk. She sees Yuyu sneakily placing a hot water pack on Kai Tang's bed to keep her warm. Immediately, the haters start spreading rumors, whispering that Yuyu stole it or is just trying to leech off Kai Tang because she's rich. Kai Tang hears the whispers but doesn't care. She finds the warm pack and realizes exactly what Yuyu did for her. In class, while the mean girls are still gossiping about her leeching, Kai Tang pulls out a lollipop and offers it to Yuyu. They share a sweet, private moment, completely ignoring the haters. During PE class, the vibes are immaculate. Kai Tang is taking a nap on the bleachers while Yuyu watches over her. Our girl reaches out to gently brush a stray hair from Kai Tang's face. Her touch is light as a feather. When Kai Tang wakes up and sees Yuyu still buried in her books, she smacks the book shut. "How are you still reciting?" she groans. Kai Tang admits she hasn't memorized a single English word for the test and tells Yuyu she's just going to copy off her. Usually our girl is a rule follower, but she just nods. "Okay," she says simply. Kai Tang is shocked. "You don't even have morals." She laughs, but then she realizes she doesn't want Yuyu to get in trouble. She decides to actually try and study for once. She starts yawning over the vocab, suspicious that Yuyu tricked her into studying with reverse psychology. Our heroine just gives her a pure, innocent smile, and Kai Tang can't help but fall for it. Outside, the rain is coming down in sheets. Inside the classroom, the atmosphere is just as gloomy, with students absolutely losing their minds over having to memorize ancient poetry. Alas, how dangerous these heights are. One student recites dramatically, while another wails about why the poet Lai Bai couldn't just leave them alone. They're all convinced that memorizing a whole book is basically impossible, though some argue that math or English is way worse. Our girl Yuyu just gives them a look and mutters, "You wish." But her attention quickly shifts to her desk mate Kai Tang, who is currently dripping wet. "You didn't bring an umbrella with you again?" Yuyu asks, clearly used to this behavior. Kai Tang just shrugs it off, claiming the restroom isn't even that far. Yuyu watches her curiously as Kai Tang starts scribbling something in her notebook. When Yuyu tries to peek, Kai Tang covers it up instantly. Yuyu can't help but wonder if those were song lyrics and if Kai Tang secretly dreams of being a singer. Meanwhile, the rest of the class is a buzz of annoying rumors and complaints about the rain ruining their basketball plans. Kai Tang stares out the window, thinking about how being a student is such a drag. Yuyu, being the observant soul she is, notices that Kai Tang is the only one who doesn't even bother to leave the room after class. She leans in and asks, "Want to go to the restroom?" Soon, the two are walking together under a bright red umbrella. It's a small moment of happiness in the middle of a gray day. But the rain takes its toll and a loud "Achoo" echoes through the halls. Back at their desks, Yuyu is already on it, handing over a cup and some pills. "Have some hot water," she says. Kai Tang looks at the cup with a deadpan expression. "You know what they say about men on the internet? Drink more hot water," she teases. Yuyu doesn't skip a beat and just repeats herself, "Drink more hot water." Kai Tang realizes she's lost this battle and helplessly takes the medicine. She even makes a show of swallowing the tablet just to get Yuyu to stop staring at her. "In class, you don't have to look after me when I sneeze or cough," Kai Tang mutters, but Yuyu just gives her a sweet, knowing smile. Finally, the clouds part and the sun comes out. Kai Tang is absolutely loving it, stretching out and basking in the rays. Yuyu giggles, thinking she looks exactly like a pampered shop owner's cat. "Why are you laughing?" Kai Tang asks, suspicious. Yuyu admits she was thinking about yesterday's test and how Kai Tang filled in the poem blanks totally wrong. Kai Tang is offended. "Are you even human? You're laughing because I got a question wrong?" Yuyu offers to recite the poem for her so she'll learn it naturally. She knows that if Kai Tang wants to write lyrics, she's going to need to master her Chinese studies first. But the peaceful school vibes don't last long. Kai Tang is called into the teacher's office where the mood is much heavier. The teacher is hounding her about why her parents can't attend the upcoming conference. It's a big deal because they have to choose their study tracks for next year. Kai Tang remains stony-faced and silent. With a heavy sigh, the teacher tells her to try her best to bring her dad on Monday. As Kai Tang walks back through the quiet hallway, she looks completely drained. When she gets back to class, Yuyu immediately senses the shift. "What's wrong?" she asks softly. Kai Tang doesn't want to talk about it, but she knows Yuyu can always tell when she's feeling down, even when she hides it. Kai Tang looks at her friend and realizes that Yuyu's parents probably won't be coming to the conference either. The next day, Kai Tang heads home to face the music. She finds her dad lounging on the sofa with a glass of wine. He actually seems to be in a good mood for once. Kai Tang hesitates, her heart probably pounding, before finally mentioning the parent-teacher conference. "Teacher said that it's very important," she says tentatively. Surprisingly, he agrees to go. Monday arrives and the classroom is packed with parents. But instead of being a supportive dad, Kai Tang's father is busy being the loudest person in the room. He's bragging to anyone who will listen about his supposed $20 million projects and how he used to head a construction team. Kai Tang is dying of embarrassment. Then he notices Yuyu sitting nearby and realizes no one from her family showed up. "Tusk, her family probably isn't well off, right?" He sneers. Kai Tang has had enough. "She's the first in our grade and gets first place every time," she snaps back. Her dad just rolls his eyes. "First place, I see, but there's no use in just being book smart." He starts a rant about how college graduates end up sweeping the streets if they don't have real skills like him. "Can't you stop talking for a bit? The only thing I can hear in this classroom is your voice," Kai Tang says, her voice trembling. That's the breaking point. Her dad slams his hand on the desk, standing up in a rage. "What's with that tone? Is this how you speak to your dad?" He screams, comparing her to an ungrateful dog. The entire room goes silent as they watch the scene unfold. Kai Tang looks at him with pure defiance, thinking, "Then why don't you give birth to a dog and raise it?" She has to clench her fists to keep from exploding. She knows if she talks back here, he'll get violent, just like he did back in middle school. Thankfully, the teacher steps in to start the conference, and the students are told to leave. As they walk out, the other kids are whispering about how ridiculous her dad is and wondering if he hits her daily. Kai Tang just wants to disappear. Time please pass by quickly, she thinks. She's desperate to grow up immediately just so she can get away from him forever. Yuyu stays by her side, trying to pull her back from the ledge. "Kai Tang, when we're second years, we'll be in the same class, okay?" she promises. She even lists out third year in college. Kai Tang is pessimistic, saying she could never get into the same college as a genius like Yuyu. "Then we'll go to the same city," Yuyu insists. Kai Tang asks what the point is, but Yuyu just looks at her with total sincerity. "I promised you." Kai Tang is stunned. "Promise me what?" Yuyu smiles gently and says, "When I get a job in the future, I'll support you." Kai Tang tries to brush it off with a nervous laugh, saying it's too early for all that. To her, no matter how serious Yuyu looks right now, it feels like a beautiful joke. After all, how long can a high school friendship really last? She can't imagine anyone actually wanting to support her unconditionally like that. In a quiet moment of reflection, our girl Kai Tang thinks back to the friend she had in the past. They were inseparable throughout elementary school and the start of middle school. But as we all know, school friends can be as easy to forget as they are to make, especially when classes change and desks are moved. Her friend found a new circle and left her behind, leaving Kai Tang with no one from her past to lean on. It wasn't some explosive drama, they just slowly stopped talking until they were strangers again. Suddenly, reality hits her like a truck when the teacher barks her name. "Why are you so distracted in class? Do you want to become a pilot in the future?" He scolds, mocking her for having her head in the clouds. He doesn't stop there, turning his annoyance toward the rest of the class for laughing when they should be focused. Kai Tang slumps in her seat next to Yuyu, the class's top student, and can't help but feel the pressure as they look at their monthly test results. Yuyu is the definition of main character energy, focused, unique, and always moving toward a goal. It's the kind of drive that makes everyone else a little envious. On the other hand, our poor heroine feels like she's just drifting through a crowd, getting swept away by the flow of people. She feels like a kite swaying in the wind with absolutely no direction. Even when the bell rings, the teacher insists on finishing one more question, leaving everyone irritated. Once class finally breaks, Kai Tang huffs to Yuyu that the teacher only targets her because she's sitting next to the star student. "He only noticed I wasn't paying attention because I am beside you," she complains. Yuyu doesn't say much, she just pushes a notebook over that has tally marks on it. 7 times, she says calmly. Kai Tang's eyes nearly pop out of her head. "Why did you have to write it down?" She screams, dying of embarrassment. She realizes the top student isn't going to let her slack off. The cycle continues through English class and chemistry, where Kai Tang gets caught staring again. Yuyu is right there, adding more marks to her distraction list. Our girl is at her limit. "Don't note it down," she commands. Surprisingly, Yuyu agrees and scribbles out the marks. Even though it feels a bit unpleasant to be tracked like that, Yuyu just smiles and covers the page, thinking things are better this way. Spring brings a change of pace when the teacher announces the Confronting festival trip to clean the graves. The excitement is immediately dampened when he mentions everyone has to write a composition afterward. On the day of the trip, the students gather outside, and Tang and Yuyu show up looking like a total power duo. As they board the bus, Yuyu notices Tang looking a bit green and wonders if she's carsick. While the teacher drones on about the schedule, Tang tries to rest her eyes. She eventually wakes up and takes off her watch, handing it to Yuyu. Use this to check the time, she says. Since Yuyu doesn't have a phone, Tang is worried she'll get lost or miss the regrouping time. Yuyu gives her a soft, genuine smile. As she fastens the watch to her wrist, she lingers on the feeling, noting that the watch still holds the warmth of Tang's skin. The class begins the long hike up the mountain trail. Some of the girls are nervous about the forest being dangerous, and a local class clown decides to make it worse by shouting, "There's a snake." He kicks a stick at one of the girls, making her scream in terror. He thinks he's hilarious, but the girl is ready to throw hands. Tang watches the immaturity with pure disgust. "Stupid X," she mutters. Yuyu checks in on her, asking if her motion sickness has calmed down. They decide to take it slow and walk at their own pace. As they climb the stone steps, the mountain scenery is peaceful. They notice some dropped flowers on the path, and Tang jokes that since those students lost their offerings, they'll have to offer up themselves to the ancestors. She spots the class clown acting like a fool in the distance and quips, "From afar, you'd think it's a wild monkey." Yuyu finally cracks a laugh at her deskmate's snarky commentary, but the mood shifts as thunder rumbles. The sky turns a heavy gray, signaling an incoming storm. Tang tells Yuyu to speed up, but Yuyu insists on staying behind. Secretly, she's thinking that if Tang slips, she'll be right there to catch her. They finish their offerings at the memorial, and the teacher suggests heading to the memorial hall for some essay inspiration. By the time they reach the hall, the sky has opened up. Everyone is trapped under the eaves, and of course, nobody thought to bring an umbrella. To pass the time, Tang pulls out her phone. Since she forgot her earbuds, she plays her music out loud for both of them. They stand together in the rain, the soft melody filling the air. Yuyu is captivated. "What song is this?" she asks. Tang explains that the songs are from the movie Spirited Away *. When Yuyu admits she's never even watched it, Tang looks like she's just witnessed a crime. Our girl is genuinely heartbroken that Yuyu has no hobbies. "Let's watch it now," she insists, grabbing Yuyu's hand. They huddle together over the small screen, Tang gushing about her love for Miyazaki's work. It's a perfect, cozy moment as they watch the masterpiece while the rain falls around them. When the credits roll, Yuyu admits it was a beautiful experience. Tang is already planning their next movie night, promising to show her Howl's Moving Castle *. Yuyu is curious about the plot, but Tang refuses to give any spoilers. As they head down the mountain to find some lunch, Yuyu looks happier than we've ever seen her. She asks if the characters in the movie ever find each other again, and Tang firmly believes they definitely will. Later, during a quick break, Tang gets dramatic. She holds up 3 grilled sausages like they're sacred incense sticks. "Today I will use these 3 grilled sausages as incense and make a vow. I'll regard you as my half-sister," she declares. Yuyu loses it, laughing at the sheer absurdity of the sausage vow. Tang shoves a snack toward her, and Yuyu can't help but think that Tang is the most interesting person she's ever met. It's the middle of May, and while the rain is pitter-pattering against the classroom window, our girl Tang is busy doing some top-tier recon work. She spots a student registration form sitting on a desk. It belongs to her deskmate Yuyu, and the most important detail is right there. Her birthday is May 10th. Tang immediately plays it cool, asking if that's the lunar or Gregorian calendar. When Yuyu confirms it's the Gregorian one, Tang realizes the big day is coming up fast. Now, our heroine usually isn't the type to celebrate birthdays or give gifts, so she's currently experiencing a total brain fart on what to get. She pouts, running through her options. Should I buy her a phone? She wonders, before immediately shooting it down because it's too expensive and Yuyu would never accept it. A set of clothes? No, then it'll look like she hates Yuyu's current style. She's getting so frustrated that her brain is practically short-circuiting. Yuyu just stares at her with a confused "Are you okay?" look, while Tang just face-plants onto her desk in defeat. Later, she decides to go for a stroll to see if inspiration strikes. While walking through the mall, she notices her shoelace is loose. As she bends down to tie it, a light bulb finally goes off in her head. She ducks into a shoe store and buys 2 pairs of sneakers, one for her and one for her bestie. Mission accomplished, right? Well, not quite. As she passes a bookstore, she sees a sign for high school exercise books. She remembers that Yuyu is a total nerd who loves solving problems, so she decides to buy her a whole mountain of them. She's grabbing books left and right, thinking it feels way better to buy study materials for others than for herself. By the time she reaches the counter, she has a stack so high the cashier thinks she's the world's most dedicated student. Tang immediately regrets her life choices when she realizes how heavy these things are. She lugged those heavy bags all the way to the dorms, her hands practically screaming in pain. When Yuyu opens the door and sees the pile, she's stunned. "Did you finally agree to study properly?" she asks. "No, I bought them as a birthday present for you," Tang yells, shoving the stack into her arms. Yuyu is touched, but then she notices a shoebox. Kai Tang, being the classic tsundere she is, lies through her teeth and says the shoes were just a complimentary gift from the bookstore because the owner used to sell shoes. Yuyu just smiles, knowing exactly what's up. After Kai Tang beats a hasty retreat, she's whistling in the hallway, feeling like the best friend of the year. Inside the room, Yuyu looks at the shoes and feels a warmth in her chest. She realizes that Kai Tang is actually incredibly nice. In a hilarious little side story, Yuyu counts the books and realizes there are 32 of them. Meanwhile, poor Kai Tang's hands are shaking so hard she can barely hold a glass of water. "I'm never giving books as gifts again," she cries. Back in class, the dynamic duo is as close as ever. Yuyu tries to share her beginner-friendly notes, but Kai Tang refuses to study. However, when a mean girl classmate tries to swoop in and borrow those same notes, Kai Tang goes into protective mode. "I want them now," she snaps, snatching the notebook back. She tells the girl off for talking crap behind Yuyu's back, leaving the bully huffing in annoyance. Kai Tang then smugly moves her desk even closer to Yuyu. When the mean girl asks if they're laughing at her, Kai Tang just deadpans, "Yup, we're laughing at your butt." As summer heat hits the classroom, Kai Tang is struggling to stay awake during the lecture. Yuyu quietly pushes a glass of water toward her and taps her to wake her up. The teacher warns them that midterms are coming and they need to study to enjoy their vacation. Kai Tang's ears perk up at the word vacation. She's already dreaming of having the house all to herself while her dad is away for work. Her daydreaming is so obvious the teacher has to call her out. Soon the midterms arrive. Our girl is working hard, and once the exams are finally over, she's completely drained. Yuyu, the absolute machine, says she doesn't think sitting for exams is tiring at all. Kai Tang can only think, what a nerd. As they pack up for the break, Yuyu mentions she can finish her holiday homework in 5 days. Kai Tang agrees, but there's a catch. Yuyu means the first 5 days of vacation, while Kai Tang means the last 5 days when she's panicking and burning the midnight oil. Yuyu reveals she'll be spending her vacation helping out at a store owned by the teacher's sister-in-law. Kai Tang tells her to work hard, and Yuyu asks if she'll be okay home alone. "I'll be fine, don't worry," Kai Tang says with a smile as they head out. After the grades are released, Kai Tang gets called into the office. Turns out she actually ranked 4th in the class. The teacher tells her she's smart but needs to be more consistent. Just then, Yuyu walks in with a fresh stack of papers. The teacher tells Kai Tang to follow her deskmate's example, but Kai Tang is already sick of listening. When she sees the massive amount of homework and essays they have to do over the break, she loses it. "Is the teacher even human?" she cries. The teacher just smirks, joking that being a teacher means he can do whatever he wants. Kai Tang can only sigh, thinking her deskmate is even more of a square than the middle-aged faculty. "Healer, heal me," her teammate screams into the mic. But Kai Tang is completely over it as the guy continues to insult her skills in the chat. "Milk what milk, I'm not your grandmother," she snaps back, totally tilted by the toxic lobby. Predictably, the screen flashes a big fat defeat. Our girl hurls her phone onto the bed in frustration. "Victory isn't for stupid teammates," she mutters, feeling that classic post-game emptiness hit her hard. Suddenly, her stomach lets out a massive growl. She's hungry, but the thought of actually moving to find food feels like a total chore. She scrolls through her phone, looking for something tasty to be delivered to her doorstep. "Hamburger, too greasy, fried chicken, no appetite," she sighs, being the ultimate picky eater. Finally, she settles on some milk tea from a shop she's never tried before, hoping the reviews aren't lying. The doorbell rings. Kai Tang heads to the door, but when she opens it, she nearly drops her jaw. Standing there in a delivery uniform is none other than her deskmate, Yuyu. "Yuyu," she gasps, her brain short-circuiting at the sight of her friend working a side hustle. Yuyu smiles warmly, explaining that she personally delivered it because the address looked familiar. Our girl isn't letting her go that easily and pulls her inside for a much-needed break. She grabs a drink from the fridge and asks how the part-time job is treating her. Yuyu insists it's fine and that she only helps with deliveries when the shop gets slammed. Kai Tang, ever the protective friend, narrows her eyes. "Do you get bullied?" she demands, ready to throw hands for her bestie. Yuyu just laughs it off, saying everyone is actually really nice to her. As Yuyu rides away on her scooter, Kai Tang notices a little slip of paper tucked into the bag. It's a handwritten note that says "Be happy every day" with a cute little smiley face. Our girl can't help but grin, recognizing her deskmate's neat handwriting immediately. Later that night, Kai Tang decides she needs some fresh air and heads to the night market. She finds the shop Yuyu works at mid-moment. The place is absolutely packed, so she decides to grab some noodles nearby first to kill time. She watches Yuyu from a distance, wondering if the poor girl ever gets tired from being so busy. After a boring movie at the cinema, Kai Tang walks back to the shop. She sees Yuyu at the counter, somehow finding the time to squeeze in some homework between customers. Kai Tang knocks on the counter and orders a tea. Yuyu's face lights up the second she realizes who it is. "You're doing homework in the middle of work, does your boss not mind?" Kai Tang asks. A coworker laughs and tells Yuyu she can take her time serving her friend. Yuyu asks what she wants, promising she can make basically anything on the menu. Kai Tang points to the paper Yuyu was working on. Where did you get this test paper? Yuyu admits it's from the exercise booklet Kai Tang gave her, making our heroine feel a massive wave of guilt. Did you finish your summer homework? Yuyu asks innocently. Kai Tang sweats, lying through her teeth that she did a bit. Yuyu isn't buying it for a second. I think you're definitely lying to me, she says with a knowing smile. The piece doesn't last long though. Kai Tang ends up catching a nasty cold and is stuck sneezing her head off the next day. She's huddled under the blankets when the doorbell rings again. It's Yuyu bringing some fresh buns her boss baked. Kai Tang tries to usher her away before the storm hits, but she can't stop sneezing. As the rain starts pouring down, Yuyu comes back soaked to the bone. She explains that the shop closed and asks if she can crash for the night. Kai Tang, despite being a sick mess, lets her. Yuyu brought kanji and soup for the patient, and Kai Tang offers her a night dress to change into. Yuyu is genuinely worried about her friend living alone in such a big room while sick. When Yuyu comes out of the bathroom, she notices Kai Tang hasn't touched the soup. Kai Tang complains it smells fishy, so Yuyu offers her hot water instead. Since there are only 2 bedrooms, Kai Tang suggests they squeeze into the same bed for the night. She asks to turn the AC up because she's freezing. Once the room is a bit warmer, they settle in together. Yuyu suggests they watch a movie to pass the time. They pull up a tablet and start scrolling. Yuyu suggests a Resident Evil, and Kai Tang is down for some zombie action. Old movies are classics, she says as they get cozy under the covers. In a sweet little flashback, we see that Yuyu has been leaving treats for Kai Tang all summer. From cookies to custard tarts, she's been looking out for her friend non-stop. Kai Tang looks through a box of all the little notes Yuyu left her. Be healthy, study well, they all say. Our girl sighs, realizing her desk mate is never going to stop nagging her to do her homework. While the rain pours outside, our 2 girls are cozying up under the covers for a horror movie marathon. But while the zombies are roaring on screen, our poor heroine Kai Tang realizes her bestie Yuyu is struggling to see the tablet. PFT, what's with your face? Kai Tang laughs, but the mood shifts when she notices Yuyu is squinting like she's trying to solve a math problem in the dark. It turns out the words are just too small for Yuyu's tired eyes. Kai Tang leans in way too close to inspect the damage, sending the blush levels through the roof. She tells Yuyu she's definitely nearsighted and needs glasses, but Yuyu insists she can still read the blackboard just fine. Our girl Kai Tang isn't fooled. She knows Yuyu is just being extra frugal because things are tight at home. With a heavy sigh, she decides it's time to call it a night and get some rest. Later that night, the rain is still hammering down as they share a bed. Yuyu reaches out a cool hand to check Kai Tang's forehead, making her jump out of her skin. Don't worry, I don't have a fever, it's just a cold, Kai Tang says, trying to play it cool. But Yuyu isn't having it, reminding her that she's been sick twice recently and it always lasts for over a week. Kai Tang opens up about her past, mentioning how her dad never looked after her when she was sick, so she just learned to recover all on her own. She tries to act like the past suffering wasn't that much, but Yuyu just softly pats her head. I can't help but worry about you, Yuyu confesses, and the tension in the room gets so thick you could cut it with a knife. Kai Tang gets totally flustered, slamming back into her pillow and shouting that Yuyu is the one who's always making her feel worried instead. Fast forward a few weeks and it's the middle of a scorching July. Kai Tang is back to her usual habits of gaming and staying up all night. When she meets Yuyu at the cafe, she looks like she hasn't slept in a century. She admits she didn't sleep a wink, but she hides the fact that she was actually up practicing instruments because she doesn't want to seem like a show-off. Yuyu is basically acting like a worried parent at this point, fretting over Kai Tang's irregular meals and lack of sleep. While chatting with a coworker, she realizes Kai Tang's birthday is coming up next month and starts stressing over the perfect gift. When asked what Kai Tang gave her for her own birthday, Yuyu reveals she got a pair of shoes and 32 assessment books. Her coworker is absolutely horrified by the study buddy gift, but Yuyu just smiles and says they are the bestest of friends. We get a little peek into Kai Tang's heart, seeing how music used to be her only shield against her parents' constant screaming. Even after the divorce, she felt lost about her future, until a conversation in the park with Yuyu changed everything. Yuyu touches her earbud and asks, "Don't you like music?" That simple question hits Kai Tang like a lightning bolt, making her realize the keys to her happiness have been in her hands all along. Now she's practicing the ukulele not to escape, but because she truly loves it. Finally, August 25th arrives, it's Kai Tang's big day. Yuyu calls her up, asking to stay over, and shows up at the door with a mysterious gift and a beautiful cake. Kai Tang is absolutely stunned because she's never actually received a cake for her birthday before. They settle in, and Kai Tang notices something special. This cake doesn't look like it was made in a shop. Yuyu shyly admits she made it herself, even though the inside collapsed a bit and the buttercream was a mess. Kai Tang is so touched she wants to blow out the candles immediately, only for Yuyu to realize she totally forgot to bring any. Improvising like a pro, Kai Tang uses a desk lamp to create the candle atmosphere. They toast with glasses of cola, and for the first time in a long time, Kai Tang is actually genuinely happy. But as she takes a bite, she can't help but ask just how much sugar Yuyu dumped into this cake. Yuyu nervously suggests she just stick to the fruit on top, but Kai Tang is already eyeing the mysterious gift bag under the table, brimming with curiosity. Kai Tang is practically vibrating with excitement as she stares at the gift Yuyu brought her. Yuyu, what did you give me? Can I open it now? She chirps, already reaching for the bag. She guesses it might be some organized notes because what else would a model student give? But Yuyu just gives her a flat no. Our girl keeps guessing summer holiday answers, headphones. But Yuyu keeps shutting her down until the box finally opens. Inside sits a beautiful, shimmering kalimba. Kai Tang is stunned. This is a thumb piano, she whispers. She's genuinely touched when Yuyu explains she saw a girl playing one and immediately thought Kai Tang would enjoy it too. Kai Tang starts plucking at the keys, and the sound is like a delicate music box. She even manages to play a tune, asking Yuyu to guess what it is. Yuyu recognizes Castle in the Sky instantly, amazed at how quickly our girl picked up the new instrument. But wait, the concert isn't over. Kai Tang pulls out a ukulele next, shocking Yuyu, who thought it was just a small guitar. Our girl explains it's way simpler with only 4 strings, and she's been practicing hard to showcase her progress. Allow me to serenade you, she declares, getting serious for her birthday performance. Yuyu tells her she doesn't need to be so formal, but Kai Tang is determined. She asks Yuyu what she wants to hear, and since they share similar tastes, she decides on the classic secret bass. As Kai Tang plays, Yuyu is completely mesmerized by how adorable her friend is. Seeing Yuyu sitting so stiffly, Kai Tang decides to switch things up with a mischievous grin. Suddenly, the room is filled with the theme from SpongeBob SquarePants*. They both burst into laughter, grooving together and even poking each other's feet under the table. It's pure wholesome chaos as they sway like mushrooms to the beat. After dancing around and playing more tunes, Kai Tang eventually gets tired. They collapse on the floor, and Yuyu notices Kai Tang's fingertips are red from the strings. She gently holds her hand, worrying if she needs finger guards. But Kai Tang just explains that calluses will grow and it won't hurt once she's used to it. They share a sweet moment where Kai Tang admits she's surprised Yuyu chose a thumb piano for her. Yuyu simply replies that she believed Kai Tang would learn to play it, just like she believed in her during those tough math competitions. Are we flattering each other now? Kai Tang teases. To celebrate the successful concert, they decide to order some late-night snacks. Kai Tang suggests spicy crayfish because why have cake when you can have a feast? But as they sit down to eat, a new problem arises. Yuyu is absolutely terrible at peeling them. This is so frustrating to watch. Kai Tang groans before she starts feeding Yuyu herself. She ends up giving Yuyu a full-blown tutorial on the perfect peeling technique. It takes 9 whole minutes for the genius student to finally peel one, but Kai Tang celebrates like she just won a marathon. However, reality hits hard when Yuyu asks about summer homework. Kai Tang hasn't done a single page and school starts in 5 days. Yuyu refuses to let her copy, but she offers to teach her a method to finish everything fast. By grouping similar problems, Yuyu manages to cut the workload in half. After a grueling math session, Kai Tang is wiped out, and the thought of writing an essay makes her head spin. Seeing her struggle, Yuyu offers to write the essay for her, making Kai Tang declare her the best and her savior for life. Thanks to Yuyu's help, our girl actually finishes her work early for the first time ever. Before she knows it, it's student reporting day. Kai Tang finds out she's been placed in Year 2 Class 3, and she's overjoyed because she specifically requested to be in the same class as Yuyu. She heads to her old dorm to grab her things, but the vibe with her old roommates is icy. Lai Lai is already ignoring her, and Kai Tang is just ready to get out of there. Suddenly, Yuyu appears at the door, and the mood immediately brightens. It's been a while, Yuyu says, even though they literally saw each other yesterday. As they wheel Kai Tang's suitcase out, the old roommates grumble that they didn't even say hi. But our girls don't care. They head upstairs to room 501, with Yuyu feeling particularly lucky because she snagged the last seat on the bus that morning. Kai Tang just hopes they can keep that luck going as they start their new life together in the dorms. Kai Tang, do you want the top or bottom bunk? Her new roommate asks as they settle into their new dorm room. Our girl doesn't even hesitate, claiming the top bunk since she's already used to it. She tosses her bag up, ready to start this new chapter. While everyone else is busy unpacking, Yuyu notices Kai Tang hasn't made her bed yet and offers to help. No need, I'll do it later, Kai Tang insists, but Yuyu sees right through her. When you say later, do you mean dragging it out until bedtime? She teases, leaving our girl speechless. They end up working together to get the sheets sorted, proving that teamwork really does make the dream work. Okay, done, they cheer, finally finished with the heavy lifting. The other girls in the dorm are already curious about their bond, asking if they were classmates before because they seem so close. Yuyu explains they both came from class 2, and the others are shocked to realize they are rooming with the top scorer of their grade. Just then, the last roommate, Xingxing, bursts in with enough energy to power the whole building. She's absolutely thrilled to be sharing a room with a genius. Xingxing is a total social butterfly, introducing herself and making sure everyone knows she's a year older. The girls go around the room, Lu Zhai, Zhang Meng, and Zia Yuanyuan, all giving their greetings while Kai Tang stays glued to her phone. Yuyu handles the introductions for both of them, keeping things polite. Xingxing immediately takes charge, volunteering to be the dorm leader. With a Mei Mei here and a big sister there, she promises to take care of everyone. Kai Tang reflects on how strange it feels to be eating with so many people at once. To celebrate their new roles, the new dorm leader buys everyone drinks. The new environment is pretty nice, Kai Tang thinks, and my dorm mates seem like good people. She's just happy to see that Yuyu's luck is finally changing for the better. But the honeymoon phase ends the moment they step into class 3. Kai Tang tries to look out for Yuyu, suggesting they sit in the second row since Yuyu is short-sighted. They settle into the third row, with the entire dorm 501 squad sitting together like a fortress. Xingxing is already pushing for a group study session, relying on Yuyu to carry their grades. The atmosphere shifts when their new math and homeroom teacher, Ms. Xingqi, walks in. She doesn't waste any time announcing the class committee she's already handpicked. Xingxing is named class president, while Yuyu is, unsurprisingly, the academic leader. I hope everyone can look up to her as a role model, the teacher says, her voice firm. Then comes the bombshell. We'll be having a quiz to evaluate your skill level, Ms. Qi announces. The entire class erupts in cries of anguish. A test on the very first day is just cruel. Some students from class 9 even start gloating outside the window, thankful they aren't in the line of fire. But Ms. Qi isn't having it. She catches them red-handed and promises to talk to their teacher about giving them a quiz too. If our girls have to suffer, everyone has to suffer. Once the torture is over, it's time for PE, and the students run out like they've just been released from prison. The girls discuss their new teacher, wondering if she's really as scary as the rumors say. A classmate warns them that Ms. Qi is a specialist in handling difficult students, which sends a literal shiver down Kai Tang's spine. To blow off some steam, Xingxing challenges them to a game of badminton. Kai Tang was planning to relax, but she can't say no to a challenge. She offers to teach Yuyu the ropes, promising to be her coach. Poor Yuyu is a total disaster at first, swinging at thin air and missing the birdie entirely. Don't worry, Kai Tang says with a confident pat on the shoulder, I'll make sure you win. The game begins and Yuyu is sweating bullets, terrified of messing up. But the second the birdie flies, Kai Tang transforms into a beast. She's smashing, diving, and dominating the court like a pro. The opposing team is left looking completely useless as our girl carries the entire match. Yuyu is stunned. She always thought Kai Tang was physically weak because she was always sick, but she was dead wrong. Kai Tang is a literal demon on the court, scoring win after win until every other team is left in the dust. 10 minutes later, the entire class is collapsed on the floor in exhaustion. Are you some kind of secret badminton demon? They gasp, but Kai Tang is barely even winded and wants more practice. As the sun begins to set, Xingxing suggests they all go grab food, but first, they need to deal with the sweat. Why don't we all go to the big bathroom and shower together? She suggests with a mischievous grin. Hurry and wash up, we still have to eat afterwards. Kai Tang says with a sigh, though she's clearly softening up. As they leave, the other girls in the hallway take notice. Wow, they sure seem to be having fun, one whispers, but not everyone is happy about it. Rumors are already starting to swirl that Kai Tang's difficult personality shouldn't allow her to get along with anyone. The jealousy is practically radiating off the girls in the hallway. 9 days later, the peace is shattered. President Y bursts into the room after meeting some old friends. The atmosphere in the dorm shifts instantly. I heard some people talking trash about you too, she reveals, looking frustrated. Apparently, their old roommates have been spreading lies. What did they say? The girls ask. The gossip is nasty. They're claiming Kai Tang is egoistic and looks down on everyone while calling Yuyu sour just because she's quiet. They're probably just jealous that our Yuyu has such good grades. The president huffs, crossing her arms. She doesn't want the drama to interfere with their study mood. But Yuyu, she doesn't even flinch. Can she not hear what we're saying? They wonder as she stays buried in her books. She finally pokes her head out, looking totally oblivious. I didn't call you, continue your worksheets, Kai Tang tells her, trying to keep the girl focused. Kai Tang pats her shoulder, realizing Yuyu is basically in another dimension when she studies. Our girl is truly a dedicated scholar. The next afternoon, the group spots the girl who was spreading the rumors in the hallway. That's her, they whisper. As the hater walks by, Kai Tang doesn't hold back, giving her a very clear, very savage middle finger. The girl runs off in a huff, totally defeated. There's no need to waste time on people like that. They agree, though they wonder why Yuyu was being isolated in the first place. Isolating someone you don't like, isn't that common for a lot of people? Yuyu asks innocently. Kai Tang admits that she was isolated once too. If no one stands up, it'll only get worse, President Y declares, getting fired up. As the class president, I won't let anything like this happen. She vows to protect them, also no one dares to bully them again. They share a heartwarming group hug, though Kai Tang reflects that she was never actually bullied. She just didn't care enough to notice. Later, during a self-study period, a new enemy appears, a moth. It lands right on Kai Tang's shirt. When she realizes what's on her, her face goes completely pale. A blood-curdling scream rips through the building. Kai Tang is absolutely terrified of bugs, hiding under her jacket in total shame. I thought Yuyu was the scared one. Her friend laughs as Kai Tang refuses to speak. Suddenly, another moth flies in, sending Kai Tang into a fresh panic. Thankfully, a boy named Wang Xiao steps in with a broom to save the day. Kai Tang is stunned. She doesn't even know him, so why did he help? His friends tease him for being a knight in shining armor, which only makes the situation more awkward. President Y snaps at them to stop playing Cupid. Kai Tang realizes that in her old class, people would have just laughed at her for being a little princess about a bug. The real garbage are the people who laugh at others' fears, the president reminds her. But boys will be boys, and one of them finds another moth and thinks it's the perfect time for a prank. He decides to scare the girls with it, but ends up just getting yelled at. Why are all the boys so immature? They groan as the bug ends up in the trash. The girls decide they need revenge. If you get scared, just scare them back, someone suggests. They brainstorm ways to terrify the boys. Regular stuff won't scare those stubborn boys. Do we need to catch a snake? One girl asks. But they realize the boys would just use a toy snake to scare them even more. That's when Yuyu speaks up with the ultimate weapon. If they're bored enough to constantly scare others, they can do more worksheets, she says with a terrifyingly calm expression. The girls are in awe. They imagine the boys buried under a mountain of academic torture. That's Yuyu for you. They laugh, knowing the boys are about to enter a world of hurt academic style. The classroom is a total zoo during self-study. The boy behind our class leader nudges her, asking why she isn't doing her job as president. She tries to play it cool, saying group discussions are good. But when she sees kids literally wrestling in the back, she realizes she's lost control. Fine, she sighs, slamming her book down. Since there's no homework, let's play a game. She suggests Pictionary and the class is totally on board. She calls up our girl Yuyu, the academic legend, to give an example of a math term. Yuyu is dragged to the front and starts sketching with intense focus. But instead of a cute drawing, she produces a complex geometric nightmare. The class goes dead silent. How is this a game? She's just doing extra work, a student groans. Even her desk mate Kai Tang is face-bombing. Our poor heroine just blinks thinking this chalk suddenly feels heavy. The class leader tries to save the vibe, but everyone is complaining about the math overload. Suddenly, a supervisor taps on the door. He walks in looking for trouble, but when he sees the advanced math on the board, he's actually impressed. What a fierce passion for learning. He beams, telling them to keep up the good work before leaving. The class sits in stunned silence before exploding into laughter at how they just accidentally tricked the teacher. Later, the arts leader takes a turn and spends 9 minutes crafting a masterpiece of a lady with a lute. The whole class recites the poem in perfect unison. It's a whole vibe. The next day, the literature teacher is obsessed with it, but then comes math class. Key walks in and reaches for the eraser, and the class screams, "No, don't erase it." Key smirks and makes a deal. If the student I call on gets the answer right, the drawing stays. Everyone starts chanting, "Call on Yuyu, call on Yuyu." Of course, our girl crushes the question, and the masterpiece is saved, much to everyone's delight. But the summer heat is no joke, and Nanlin is feeling like a furnace. While Yuyu is calm and collected, Kai Tang is absolutely losing it. She's so irritated by the heat that she accidentally rips her homework page right in half. She's ready to throw her pen and quit, but then she notices Yuyu sliding a notebook over. Our girl stayed up and neatly copied the entire solved problem for her. Kai Tang is touched, calling Yuyu her rescue worker deskmate. The other girls in the dorm are green with envy. Yuyu, help us too, they beg. But our girl is loyal, telling them she only helped because of the ripped page and that they need to do their own work. The girls start teasing them, joking that ever since Kai Tang entered court, she's been the favorite while they're just neglected concubines. Yuyu is totally confused by the reference, while Kai Tang just smirks at their antics. In the next math lesson, Key is looking for a victim to solve a problem on the board. The room is a graveyard of silence. Kai Tang feels the teacher's gaze and panics, but Yuyu heroically raises her hand. Key smiles and says, "Fine, Yuyu," and Kai Tang, you two solve it together. Kai Tang's soul basically leaves her body. At the board, Kai Tang has no clue and just writes the words solution to buy time. Yuyu notices her friend struggling and does the unthinkable. She intentionally slows down. While the teacher is distracted drinking water, Yuyu leans over and whispers the steps. Kai Tang's eyes light up as she realizes the answer. Doing something sneaky like this in front of everyone? It's so thrilling, she thinks with a grin. They both finish perfectly, and even Key can't help but smile at her two little kids in the teacher's office later. Kids nowadays might be impossible to manage, but these two are certainly making life interesting. Back in the classroom, Kai Tang taps on Yuyu's desk to pull her away from her studies. Since it's break, you should rest your eyes, she suggests, always looking out for her bestie. Yuyu looks up and asks if our girl can even see properly anymore. Kai Tang admits that sometimes the teacher's handwriting is so small it's just a blur, so she's planning on getting a prescription for glasses soon. Yuyu is shocked. If she can't see, how are her notes so incredibly detailed? Our girl just shrugs, admitting she just fills in the blanks based on the context. Yuyu can only sigh, thinking that only Kai Tang would be brave enough to literally guess her way through school notes. She urges her to get those glasses ASAP. With the National Day holiday coming up, Yuyu asks about her plans. While Yuyu is stuck tutoring kids, Kai Tang just wants to head home and rot in the air conditioning. But as she heads home, the reality is far from a relaxing vacation. Her house is a disaster zone filled with her father's deadbeat friends smoking and gambling the day away. Our poor heroine retreats to her room. She collapses on her bed, realizing there is absolutely no way she's getting a peaceful nap in this house. Night falls and the atmosphere only gets worse. Her father calls her out not to say hello, but to demand she order dinner for the whole group. When she asks for money, he throws a fit, demanding she use her own. She fires back that he hasn't been home for months and she's broke. Our girl stands her ground, looking him dead in the eye. He finally shoves a stack of cash at her, complaining it's not enough. Your friends are all here, I wouldn't want to be stingy, she retorts with a biting sarcasm. He slams the money down, clearly frustrated that his latest project probably failed. Kai Tang walks away, feeling the weight of her pathetic home life. She hates how he gets drunk and brings strangers into their space. It's so annoying, she vents to herself, staring at her phone for any sign of escape. Suddenly, her dorm group chat pings. Her friends are sharing photos of rundown tourist traps. They're all exhausted and bored, which makes Kai Tang feel a little less alone. Outside her door, she can hear the men feasting, but she refuses to join them. Even as her stomach growls, she stays hidden. She settles for a small snack in her room, preferring hunger over their company. For safety, she wedges a chair under the door handle, a habit born from a deep-seated fear. She switches off the light, trying to find some peace in the dark. Lying in bed, she scrolls through her phone and stops at a photo of Yuyu studying in the dorms. She zooms in on her friend's face, a soft longing in her eyes. I'm starting to miss the dorm, she whispers to the empty room. Even without air conditioning, I just want to go back. The next day at noon, she tries to sneak out. Her dad asks where she's going, and she lies that she's just eating out. But as she reaches the door, one of her dad's friends starts ogling her. He asks how old she is, his gaze lingering in a way that makes her skin crawl. Kai Tang looks absolutely terrified, the disgust written all over her face. She slams the door shut and flees. Shaking, she collapses against the door, the trauma of her childhood rushing back. You see, when she was 12, her mom stopped coming home, leaving her alone with a father who brought good-for-nothing friends over. One night, a strange uncle grabbed her, and she had to struggle and scream just to get him to let go. She was terrified, dropping her glass in the chaos. The worst part, her father didn't care. When she confronted him, screaming for protection, he just told her to stop embarrassing him. That was the day she learned that in this family, she is her only protector. It's why she never wears dresses and why she never sleeps without a chair blocking her door. Even now that she's grown, that incurable scar remains. Outside, the rain begins to pour. Back in bed, her phone dings again. Her friends are asking where she is, and Yuyu specifically asks if she's eating well. Yuyu then sends a photo of her new glasses. The group chat erupts in teasing, accusing Yuyu of playing favorites with Kai Tang. Our girl finally smiles, typing out, I want to go back to the dorms. Her friends think she's crazy to leave the AC, but Yuyu hears the pain in her silence. If you want to come back, then come, Yuyu messages, even offering to pick her up in the rain. No need, I'll come back now, Kai Tang replies, her heart finally feeling light. She braves the storm and arrives at the school gates. There, standing under a red umbrella, is Yuyu waiting for her. As they walk together, Kai Tang sighs, admitting she suddenly feels useless. Yuyu, in her classic logical fashion, tells her that from Earth's perspective, all humans are useless viruses anyway. It's a weirdly comforting thought. They both sigh together in the rain, bonded by their shared brand of existential dread. Back at the dorm, their roommate is confused why anyone would give up AC to come back early. Kai Tang ignores her, her eyes fixed on Yuyu. She asks to see the new glasses and gently slides them onto Yuyu's face. When Yuyu looks up, the transformation is breathtaking. Our girl is completely dazed, her heart skipping a beat at how charismatic her friend looks. Even the roommate notices the sudden, heavy silence in the room. I was just surprised by how pretty Yuyu is with glasses on, Kai Tang admits, fanning herself to hide her blush. Yuyu is left speechless, the tension in the air thick enough to cut with a knife. Back in the dorm, our girl Yuyu is being her usual overachieving self, but when Kai Tang asks if she's doing worksheets again, she actually claims she's taking it easy. Kai Tang is skeptical because, for Yuyu, taking it easy probably means memorizing the dictionary instead of a textbook. Take it easy means, she asks, looking at our girl like she's grown a second head. Kai Tang watches as Yuyu proceeds to scrub, sweep, and clean the entire room. Apparently, her version of relaxation is manual labor. After she finishes her chores and dries her hair, Kai Tang can only conclude that Yuyu is actually busier than when she's studying. Later, our heroine settles onto her bunk with a book, and Kai Tang can't help but poke her leg to get her attention. It turns out she's reading Border Town, a classic the literature teacher recommended. Yuyu admits she's reading it because her writing skills aren't as good as the others, and she wants to make up for lost time. One of the roommates, Zhang Meng, chimes in that grades aren't everything, but we all know Yuyu isn't the type to settle for average. Night falls on the dorm and the moon is high in the sky. Yuyu finally takes off her glasses, rubbing her tired eyes, only to realize someone is occupying her bed. It's Kai Tang, fast asleep on Yuyu's mat. Instead of waking her up, our girl gently covers her with a blanket. When Zhang Meng suggests telling Kai Tang to move, Yuyu just smiles and says they can trade for the night. The roommate is shocked because Kai Tang is notoriously picky about people touching her bed, but for Yuyu, she's making an exception. While Kai Tang sleeps, Yuyu goes back to her book, but her mind starts wandering to the romance in the story. She wonders how the leads even know they like each other, and if love is only obvious when it's between a guy and a girl. She gazes down at her sleeping friend, watching as Kai Tang flips over in her sleep. It's a hot night, so Yuyu grabs a fan and starts gently fanning Kai Tang to keep her cool. She can't help but smile, thinking about how Kai Tang's going to wake up with mat marks all over her face. Honestly, seeing Kai Tang so peaceful just puts a massive grin on our girl's face. The next morning, the sun is shining, and sure enough, Kai Tang is staring at her reflection in horror because her face is covered in print marks. Later that day, Yuyu heads off to a tutoring session while Kai Tang decides to blow off steam at an internet cafe. But the cafe isn't exactly peaceful. Some random guy starts catcalling her while she's trying to game. He has the nerve to ask her to play with him, but Kai Tang is not the one to mess with. She snaps, screaming "screw off now," and scares the absolute daylight out of the creep. As the sun sets, a hand suddenly drops onto Kai Tang's shoulder. She's ready to throw hands, demanding to know who has the audacity to touch her, but then she sees it's just Yuyu. Our girl found her and wants to know if she's ready for dinner. Kai Tang immediately cools down, agreeing to go home. As they walk together through the golden sunset, they decide on barbecue for dinner. In a little mini-theater moment, Kai Tang asks how she even found her, and Yuyu admits she checked every single cafe in the area. Kai Tang warns her that she'll get caught by a teacher next time, but Yuyu jokes she'll just say she was doing online research. The roommates know that because Yuyu is a model student, the teachers would actually believe her lies. Back at school after the break, the class is bustling. The girls are discussing how Kai Tang gives a mountain of workbooks as gifts, which is a total nightmare. When a friend asks Yuyu if she's actually happy sitting next to the Ice Queen, our girl doesn't hesitate for a second. I am. Kai Tang pretends to be annoyed and chases them around, but Yuyu just watches with a fond smile. She can tell Kai Tang is genuinely becoming happier and making more friends, and it makes our heroine's heart melt. The teacher announces that the class gets to choose the location for their field trip. While everyone is debating, Kai Tang acts like she doesn't care. But then she remembers Yuyu mentioned being interested in rainforests and deserts. She suggests the Dongshan Botanical Garden, which is basically a vote for what Yuyu wants. The vote ends in a tie between the garden and the mountains. Since Yuyu was the one tallying the votes and hasn't voted yet, she gets the tiebreaker. Of course, she chooses the botanical garden. President Y explains that the garden has a beautiful glass greenhouse, which Yuyu is dying to see. However, the winding mountain roads are a recipe for motion sickness. While one friend panics about feeling barfy, Yuyu asks for an extra pack of medicine for Kai Tang. Kai Tang tries to play it cool, but Yuyu knows her better than anyone. She knows her friend's motion sickness is actually pretty bad. When Yuyu calls her out on it, Kai Tang gets all flustered and tells her to shut up. The day of the trip arrives, and it's a rainy trek through the lush botanical garden. Kai Tang checks on Yuyu, making sure she's feeling okay in the rain. As the group follows the guide and admires the flowers, Kai Tang stays close to our heroine. Suddenly, while the rest of the class is distracted by the plants, Kai Tang reaches out and grabs Yuyu's hand. She puts a finger to her lips, whispering, "SHH, follow me," as she pulls her away for a secret moment alone. "Wow, look at all these chrysanthemums, they're so beautiful," our girl Yuyu exclaims, her eyes lighting up despite the steady drizzle. She points out a unique green one to Kai Tang, trying to make the most of their rainy walk. Kai Tang, however, is a bit of a pessimist today, muttering that the flowers would look way better if the sun were actually out. She even pouts about not being able to smell them, but Yuyu just smiles and teases her. "You're already so pretty, asking for them to smell good too is just greedy," she jokes, and honestly, the flirtatious energy is off the charts. They keep wandering, but let's be real, Yuyu is a total city girl who knows nothing about nature. "What kind of tree is this?" she asks, pointing at a random branch. Kai Tang is unimpressed by her lack of survival skills, especially when Yuyu admits she only knows what things are once she spots a sign. Suddenly, a sweet, heavy scent hits them. It smells so good. Kai Tang whispers, looking up at the blooming osmanthus trees. The petals start falling like golden rain, and for a second, the world feels like a romantic K-drama. Our girl Yuyu just watches her with the softest expression, clearly caught in the moment. But nature is a cruel mistress, and the romantic vibes don't last long. As they head toward a pavilion to get out of the downpour, Yuyu tells Kai Tang to hold on tight so she doesn't slip on the wet stone. Famous last words, just as they're discussing heading to the glass greenhouse. Kai Tang's foot gives way on a slick step. Yuyu is instantly by her side, panic written all over her face as she sees the nasty, bloody scrape on Kai Tang's knee. Our girl wants to call a teacher or find a service center immediately. But Kai Tang is way too stubborn for her own good, claiming it's not that deep and that she can just let it bleed dry. Kai Tang tries to limp away, but Yuyu isn't having any of that tough girl act. Wait, Kai Tang, she shouts, stopping her before she can do more damage. Our girl looks her dead in the eye and drops into a squat. I'll carry you, she says firmly. Kai Tang is absolutely stunned, her face turning a bright, lovely shade of pink. Carry me? She stammers. Yuyu just gives her a confident smirk, explaining that she used to carry heavy water buckets back home as a kid, so one petite girl is no problem at all. After a bit of back and forth and a lot of blushing, Kai Tang finally gives in and hops on for a piggyback ride. As they trek through the gorgeous autumn leaves, the rain finally lets up, making the golden trees look even more magical. Kai Tang even forgets her pain for a second to snap some photos of the scenery. But the piece is interrupted when they run into their classmates. A guy the group calls Tan Skin sees the injury and tries to play the big hero. Tan Skin, come and carry her, one of the girls yells. He steps up with a confident grin, saying these physical tasks should be a boy's job. But Kai Tang's vibe immediately shifts from chilling to absolute zero. She doesn't move an inch from Yuyu's back. I'm fine here with Yuyu, she says flatly, leaving the poor guy standing there looking like a total loser in front of everyone. 10 minutes later, the guy tries to offer again, but Kai Tang shuts him down with a cold, I can handle it. Her friend realizes Kai Tang absolutely hates it when guys act ambiguous or pushy. Once they finally reach the service center, the friend calls Kai Tang a total idiot. Why were you so stubborn? You missed a huge opportunity to ditch the single title. She groans, pointing out that Tan Skin clearly has a massive thing for her. But Kai Tang just crosses her arms, looking totally unbothered while Yuyu watches from the side. I knew he liked me, Kai Tang admits coolly. That's exactly why I didn't want him to carry me. Talk about a savage rejection. It looks like our girl Yuyu is the only one who's allowed to be her knight in shining armor. As the class explores the massive greenhouse, they can't help but point out the bizarre-looking cacti and the towering king tree reaching for the glass ceiling. While the others are distracted by the scale of it all, our girl Kai Tang is drawn to the smaller details, noting how these flowers are a bit pale compared to the ones outside. She looks on with a soft, rare expression, admiring how they managed to bloom in such a harsh, sandy environment. That's why I like them the most, she admits, finding a bit of herself in their quiet resilience. Yuyu just smiles, happy to see her friend finally enjoying the trip, but their peaceful moment is cut short when the teachers start barking for everyone to line up for the ride home. Outside, the rest of the class is already piling into the bus, wondering where the duo has disappeared to. Just as a few classmates offer to go look for them, they spot the pair approaching. Because Kai Tang's leg is still busted, she has to hop along on one foot while leaning heavily on Yuyu for support. Of course, the class president can't help but fangirl, whispering that Kai Tang looks handsome even when she's struggling to walk. Once they're back at the dorms and the lights go out, it's officially gossip hour. Wai Xingxing is already sighing into her pillow, lamenting how bored she is and how badly she wants to experience the sweet taste of love. Her roommates aren't having it, pointing out that she's only single because she's too picky. Wai defends herself, claiming the boys at school are just too childish for her. She's into the mature, graceful types, like her 30-year-old middle school teacher. The conversation quickly shifts to the boy nicknamed Tan Skin and why Wai insisted he carry Kai Tang earlier. Even though Kai Tang clearly doesn't like him, Wai admits she was just trying to be a wingman. I wanted to give them a chance. She squeals, unaware that Kai Tang is wide awake and listening to every word from the top bunk. Kai Tang finally chimes in with a cold, I have no feelings for him, what gave you that idea? Wai tries to justify it, saying Kai Tang is usually so mean to boys that her actually talking to Tan Skin made everyone think there was a spark. She brings up how they always interact during Phys Ed, making the whole class think something is brewing. Kai Tang just rolls her eyes, explaining she was only asking him for things and only went to that party because she was bored. When Wai mentions that Tan Skin definitely thinks she likes him, Kai Tang shuts it down instantly. Self-indulgent people can think whatever they want. The room erupts in giggles until someone points out that if we're using Wai's logic, Kai Tang treats Yuyu the best, so doesn't that make them the real true love pairing? Wai immediately shuts that down, shouting that girls don't count, while pounding her pillow in frustration. The gossip mill keeps churning, revealing that another girl, Lu Zhai, might actually be the one who likes Tan Skin. Apparently, she only banters with him because he's too scared to approach Kai Tang directly. This leads to a heavy discussion about friends liking the same guy, with Wai revealing she lost a best friend over a boy in the past. Another girl mentions she and her friend both gave up on a crush just to save their bond. Kai Tang stays silent, her mind racing as she stares into the dark. She decides then and there to distance herself from Tan Skin to avoid any more drama. Turning her attention to the bunk below, Kai Tang asks if Yuyu is still awake. When Yuyu confirms she is, the girls pounce, asking if our studious heroine has a secret crush. Most of the room assumes she's too busy loving her textbooks to care about boys. They joke that she probably tells guys to go away so they don't disturb her studying, which gets a laugh out of everyone. But then Yuyu asks a question that makes the room go dead silent. What do you consider liking someone? The gossips immediately freak out, sensing a major scoop. They tell her that if she's asking that, she definitely has someone on her mind, just like a female lead in a romance manga. Y starts preaching about how that feeling of constantly thinking about someone is the definition of love. When they press her to reveal if it's a boy in their class, Yuyu softly admits, it's not. She looks deeply conflicted, her face flushed as she stares at the ceiling. She tries to deflect, pointing out that none of them have ever actually dated, so they're hardly experts. The girls laugh it off, admitting they get all their knowledge from novels and gossip. Eventually, Yuyu tells them all to go to sleep. Long after the others have drifted off, Yuyu lies awake in the quiet room. She whispers Kai Tang's name into the dark. When Kai Tang grumbles a sleepy what, Yuyu just tells her to be careful not to hurt her bruised knee while she sleeps. Some think she's getting special tutoring to skip a grade. Kai Tang knows better. Our girl is just pushing herself to the limit for the federal math competition. Finding her on a bench later, Kai Tang asks how the prep is going. Yuyu admits she started late and it's going to be tough to learn everything in time. Despite the pressure, Yuyu is determined to push herself for a high placement. Kai Tang looks at her with total admiration, saying she's never met anyone smarter. Yuyu humbly shakes her head, insisting there are plenty of people more gifted, so she just has to work twice as hard. Kai Tang watches her, thinking about how incredible people never seem to realize how amazing they truly are. I'm confident you'll place first, Kai Tang says firmly. Yuyu finally breaks into a bright, beautiful smile. As the weeks pass, Yuyu disappears into her studies, using up every single second of free time. Their usual chats between periods are a thing of the past, and Yuyu spends every elective class in the office with the teacher. Kai Tang finds herself hanging out with the other girls more, but she feels herself slipping back into that lonely outsider mindset. Watching Yuyu run toward her dreams makes Kai Tang feel like she's just wandering toward a blurry future she can't even see. One night, Yuyu sneaks back into the dorm late after a marathon study session. She sees Kai Tang asleep and gently fixes her covers. Kai Tang, who was actually just feigning sleep, wonders why she's acting so moody and upset. She accidentally drops her earphones and the two lock eyes in the moonlight. Kai Tang tries to play it cool, tapping her pen against the bed frame. When Yuyu asks what she's doing, Kai Tang jokingly says, I'm fishing, imagining herself as a mermaid waiting for a catch. Yuyu doesn't say much, just reaches out and gently removes the earphone from Kai Tang's ear. She tells her to stop talking and get some rest, giving her a soft pat on the head before heading to her own bunk. The next morning, Kai Tang finds a small origami boat sitting on her desk. She unfolds it to find several little hand-drawn fish inside. A huge smile spreads across her face as she realizes it's a gift from Yuyu. Oh, it's the mermaid I fished up last night, she whispers to herself, carefully folding the boat back up and keeping it close. The reaction from the class is a collective nope, as most of the students act like running a lap is a manual labor sentence. No, I'm not even keen on running the 100-meter dash. One girl groans, while another adds that if it's optional, she's definitely out. Our girl Y is already feeling the pressure because nobody is hyped for the competition this time. Her friend doesn't help the stress levels, casually reminding her that as the class rep, this headache is entirely her responsibility. Hey, you're a class rep too, you know? Y reminds the resident arts member, but she just shrugs it off. Since nobody is volunteering, Y decides to leave it all to Lady Luck. The sign-ups will be handled by a lottery this time. What you get is what you get, she warns the class, telling them to take the results on the chin like adults. The room immediately fills with the sounds of souls leaving bodies as the students draw their lots. One poor girl looks like she's about to see God because she pulled the relay race, while another is mourning her fate over the shot put. The drama reaches a fever pitch when one student starts literally weeping over pulling the 3 km long run. I can't do it, I really can't. Can anyone switch with me? She cries. Her boyfriend tries to be the hero of the hour, offering to take her place, but there's a slight problem. It's a girls-only event. The class starts roasting him, suggesting they give him a makeover and a wig just to pass him off. The chaos continues as another girl begs President Y for an exception because of her asthma. Y, being the responsible leader she is, moves the girl to logistics and decides to take the 3 km burden onto her own shoulders. This is high-tier martyrdom because Y is already signed up for 2 other events. What choice do I have? Nobody else wants to, she sighs. But just as Y is preparing for her inevitable demise on the track, Kai Tang steps in and snatches the paper. Our girl Kai Tang is officially taking over the long run. You're the only one to care for your sister, Y cries, practically sobbing with relief. Later that night in the dorms, Kai Tang mentions the race to Yuyu. Unfortunately, Yuyu has an outside competition on the same day and might not be back in time to play cheerleader. No worries, you attended the long run by yourself last year too, Kai Tang says, acting cool as always. Yuyu promises to try her best to make it back, giving Kai Tang a gentle head pat before she heads out. The day of the competition arrives and the tension is in the air. As Kai Tang prepares, she runs into Yuyu for a final goodbye. In a moment of pure good luck energy, Kai Tang intentionally steps right on Yuyu's pristine white sneaker. Wai is standing there completely baffled, asking if they just got into a fight. You're still smiling, Wai asks Yuyu, who is looking down at the footprint with a blush. No, Kai Tang is wishing me good luck on getting first place. Yuyu explains, leaving Wai even more confused by their special language. The starting gun finally goes off and the 3,000-meter torture begins. Kai Tang is pushing her limits, but by the final section of the race, she is absolutely gassed. Tired, so tired, my feet feel so heavy, she thinks, struggling to even lift her legs. She's at her breaking point, but as she nears the finish line, she sees a familiar pair of shoes. Yuyu actually made it back. She catches Kai Tang before she can collapse, holding her close as the race ends. Luckily, I made it in time, Yuyu whispers. To celebrate Kai Tang's impressive third-place finish, Wai treats the whole group to a BBQ session. Our good girl, President Wai, even reveals her sneaky side, showing off a bunch of beers she bought by telling the shopkeeper they were for her dad. The group is a bit nervous about getting caught, but the celebratory mood takes over. It turns out Yuyu has a terrifyingly high alcohol tolerance, while the rest of the girls are lightweight champions. After just one can, the squad is completely wasted. Back at the dorms, Wai spends her evening pinching the cheeks of her drunken friends, enjoying the chaos. Alas, happy days are always so short, she muses as the night finally comes to an end. Kai Tang finally makes it home, but when she tries to turn her key, the lock won't budge. She stands there, confused, wondering if her deadbeat dad actually moved and changed the locks without telling her. She gives the door a frustrated knock, and a voice from inside asks who it is before the latch clicks open. Our girl is met by a strange woman with long, flowing hair who seems way too comfortable in this house. Who are you? Why are you in my house? Kai Tang demands, her guard immediately going up. The woman gives a fake, sugary smile and introduces herself as Auntie Zhu, announcing that she'll be living here from now on. She ushers Kai Tang inside like she's a guest, confirming that the locks were indeed changed. Auntie Zhu proudly admits she's the one who convinced Kai Tang's father to do it, claiming the old house was unsafe. Just then, the man of the hour wanders out, yawning like he didn't just replace his daughter with a total stranger. He casually drops a bombshell. Auntie Zhu is pregnant, and since it was inconvenient for her to stay in the city, he brought her here to play house until the baby is born and they can marry. Kai Tang is absolutely reeling. Didn't this man claim for years that it was impossible for him to have more kids? She stares at him, realizing he's gone completely off the deep end just because he's desperate for a son. When she retreats to her room, she finds it's been turned into a complete disaster zone. Auntie Zhu has the audacity to act like a gracious host, asking if she's staying for dinner, but Kai Tang has seen enough. She grabs her luggage and her guitar, heading straight for the exit. Her dad is still lounging on the couch, barely looking up from his phone. He hands her a measly stack of cash, while Auntie Zhu whispers in his ear about how Kai Tang doesn't know how to be a proper daughter. Kai Tang stops at the door, her blood boiling. She doesn't care about the money, but she has zero patience for mistress who thinks she's part of the family. I know how to be a proper daughter, she snaps, turning back with a look that could kill. Do you think you have any right to say that about me? She tells the woman to go ask her own father if he'd be proud of her being a mistress to a man 10 years older. With that final burn, she slams the door so hard the frame rattles. Her dad screams for her to stop, but our girl is already gone. Back at the dorms, the roommates are shocked to see her back so soon. She lugs all her gear inside, looking like she's moved out for good. They notice her instrument case and realize our heroine is a secret musician. Exhausted from the emotional whiplash, Kai Tang collapses onto her bed. She spills the tea about the pregnant mistress, and the girls are absolutely floored. One roommate sighs that life is crueler than fiction, warning Kai Tang that she needs to be careful now that a stepmother and a potential heir are in the picture. Kai Tang isn't worried about the inheritance, though. She admits her dad always thought he was sterile, so he's putting all his eggs in this one basket. But I have a feeling the child isn't even his, she adds, sending the roommates into another spiral of shock. For now, she's just glad she rescued her most important belongings. To lighten the mood, the girls beg her to play a song. She claims she only knows the ukulele, but they won't take no for an answer. With a small, genuine smile, she finally agrees. Later that evening, the soft sound of music drifts through the hallway. Yuyu pauses outside the door, listening to the lyrics about shared dreams and the pain of missing someone. Inside, Kai Tang is lost in her own world, strumming the ukulele with a bittersweet expression. When Yuyu finally enters, the other girls are still raving about the performance. They try to get her to play another one, but Kai Tang's being shy. Yuyu asks why she brought the instrument to school, and Kai Tang admits that playing at home became too annoying. She's still getting used to people watching her perform, which Yuyu says is something she'll have to overcome. One of the roommates watches them, noticing that Yuyu only seems to have eyes for Kai Tang. She jokes that Yuyu is an empress, and Kai Tang is the only one who knows how to spoil her. As the night winds down, the roommates keep pestering Kai Tang for more music. To keep them happy, she pulls out a kalimba, showing off yet another talent. Time skips forward to a few days before New Year's. The class is buzzing with excitement, planning a massive party. The class lead corners Kai Tang, practically begging her to perform so the event doesn't flop. Kai Tang teases her, saying she'll only do it if the class lead performs first. After some playful bickering, the deal is sealed. During class, Kai Tang notices that Yuyu seems completely unsettled. She wonders if it's because of whatever happened at the New Year's party last year. They're soon called away to help decorate the teacher's office. The party prep is in full swing, and everyone is scrambling to get things ready. Kai Tang spends her time blowing up heart-shaped balloons until her cheeks hurt. She looks over and sees Yuyu standing there, looking absent-minded and lost in thought. To snap her out of it, Kai Tang playfully places a pink heart balloon on Yuyu's head and tells her to hold out her hand. She ties the balloon to Yuyu's wrist, teasing her not to slack off on the job. Suddenly, the lights go out and the disco balls start spinning, casting colorful lights across the room. The party officially kicks off with the class lead taking the stage to warm up the crowd. Kai Tang watches from the side, realizes she's up next and feeling the nerves kick. Beside her, Yuyu watches the stage, looking like she's offering up a silent prayer for our girl's big moment. Next up to the stage is our girl Kai Tang, but she's already regretting her life choices as she realizes she has to follow up a high-energy performance. She takes her seat and begins to strum her ukulele, the soft notes filling the room. As she starts singing Love Confession, the atmosphere completely shifts. Our heroine's voice is so captivating that the entire class starts singing along, totally lost in the moment. Having you is like having the entire world, they belt out in unison. The crowd is absolutely floored, whispering that none of the song covers they've heard can even compare to her version. Even the girls in the front row are mesmerized, shushing each other so they don't miss a single note. Kai Tang's eyes meet Yuyu's, and for a second it feels like she's singing just for her. As the song ends, the room explodes into cheers, with everyone begging for an encore. Zhang Meng jumps back on stage to keep the hype train moving, while Kai Tang tries to make a quiet exit. But she doesn't get far before a fan corners her, shouting, "Kai Tang, please give me your autograph." The girl is convinced that once Kai Tang becomes a famous singer, this signed balloon will be worth a fortune. Kai Tang just laughs and signs it, probably thinking her classmates are a bit nuts. Seeing the commotion, Yuyu approaches with a heart-shaped balloon, looking a little shy. "Do you also want an autograph?" Kai Tang teases before signing it with a flourish. Yuyu clutches that balloon like it's the most precious thing in the world, a soft smile playing on her lips. The party continues with more performances, but the mood is ruined when the teacher, Ms. Key, complains that all these love songs are too mushy. To fix the vibe, she decides to recite a classical poem, the Song of the Pipa Player. The students are horrified, whispering that the math teacher reciting classics is a literal nightmare. Predictably, Ms. Key gets halfway through and completely blanks on the words. Just as the silence becomes unbearable, a familiar ukulele chord rings out. Kai Tang steps in, flawlessly reciting the poem while providing the perfect musical backdrop. The class is stunned. Is there anything this girl can't do? Ms. Key is impressed but can't help but feel a little called out by her students' talent. "Quiet down," she shouts at the cheering crowd, though she can't hide her pride. She jokes that Kai Tang clearly pays more attention in her classics class than in math. Our girl doesn't even deny it, bluntly stating, "Math is too hard, can that change?" That night, Yuyu lies in bed, staring at the heart balloon Kai Tang signed for her. She keeps it tied to her bed frame for as long as possible, only taking it down once it finally starts to lose air. While everyone else is excited for winter break, Kai Tang is filled with dread. She knows going home means facing her dad and stepmother, which usually ends in screaming matches or worse. 2 against 1, there's no way I'd win, she thinks bitterly. She considers asking Yuyu to go to her grandmother's house with her, but she's worried it would be too weird to ask out of the blue. Her hopes are dashed when the class president invites Yuyu to stay at her place, only for Yuyu to reveal she's already booked. She's attending a math camp and then staying with Ms. Key for the rest of the break. Kai Tang hides her disappointment, realizing she'll be stuck at home alone. However, as they're leaving for the break, Yuyu surprises her by showing off a brand new phone. Kai Tang is confused since Yuyu always said phones were unnecessary. "It makes things more convenient," Yuyu explains. "You can call me if you need anything." Kai Tang's heart skips a beat. Did she really buy a phone just to stay in contact with her? It's 3 days into the break, and Kai Tang is already bored out of her mind. She sends a message to Yuyu but gets no reply for hours. She's practically pouting, ready to give up and just play video games instead. Finally, her phone buzzes. Yuyu apologizes, saying she was stuck in class until now, and ends the message with a standard smiling emoji. Kai Tang stares at it, feeling a bit insulted. In her world, that specific emoji is the peak of sarcasm. She fires back with a row of the same emojis, and they end up in a weird smiling standoff. Kai Tang eventually gives up, unable to continue such a dry conversation. Meanwhile, at math camp, Yuyu is actually worried she offended Kai Tang. She sees the wall of emojis and thinks she must be in a great mood, feeling relieved. During a lecture, the teacher asks her to explain a complex problem. Mid-explanation, her phone buzzes in her pocket. She speeds through the rest of the math logic just so she can sit down and check her messages. She peeks at her screen only to find a message from Kai Tang that says, "That smiling emoji is asking for a beating, I dare you to send it again," followed by a row of knife emojis. Yuyu is utterly baffled, wondering why a sincere smile would bother her so much. Back at the House of Horrors, Kai Tang is forced to endure a suffocating dinner with her father and stepmother. They're acting like a normal couple, discussing health checkups and dinner plans, while Kai Tang sits there in silence. The atmosphere is so thick with tension she can barely breathe. She retreats to her room as soon as possible, scrolling through her phone to escape the reality of her home life. She spots a post from Zhang Meng about a family hotel at a mountain resort. Her eyes light up as a plan forms. "Since I can't stand being here, why don't I just go stay at Zhang Meng's hotel for a few days?" she thinks, finally seeing a way out of her misery. Our girl is officially on the move, taking a long bus ride through the winding mountain roads. Zhang Meng is blowing up her phone, acting like a total mother hen and warning her not to take any shady cabs. She's even planned out a whole itinerary of tourist spots, but Kai Tang is just thinking about how much of a chatterbox her friend has become. Honestly, the poor girl can barely think straight anyway because the motion sickness is hitting her hard. She tries to settle her stomach with a drink, but her mind keeps drifting back to her dad. He hasn't even replied to her messages, probably because he's too busy obsessing over the precious son her stepmother is carrying. Meanwhile, back at the Lemon Inn, the clingy boyfriend energy is off the charts. Yuyu is on the phone with Zhang Meng, giving her a literal survival guide on how to handle Kai Tang. She's like, make sure she has tangerines and keep the window open or she'll get sick. Zhang Meng can't help but tease her, calling her a clingy boyfriend, but Yuyu doesn't care. She just wants our girl to be safe. When Kai Tang finally arrives at the station, she's greeted by an overly enthusiastic Zhang Meng. And look at that, the first thing she gets is a bag of tangerines, exactly like Yuyu ordered. Our girl can't help but crack a small smile at how much they care. She sends a quick "I'm safe" photo of the fruit to Yuyu, who responds with a short but sweet "stay safe." Zhang Meng's mom, Auntie Ning, is basically the polar opposite of Kai Tang's cold family. She welcomes her with open arms, promising to take care of her like one of her own. She even shows her to a gorgeous, sunny room that's been freshly prepped just for her. Kai Tang tries to be polite and offer to pay, but Zhang Meng isn't having any of it. She goes full shady innkeeper mode, joking that she won't let our girl leave. They eventually settle on a friends and family discount, and Kai Tang finally feels a sense of peace looking out at the mountains. The cozy vibes continue with home-cooked meals and hanging up fairy lights. But the real plot twist happens when Kai Tang texts Yuyu a photo of the decorations. Out of nowhere, the genius roommate asks if she can come stay too. Auntie Ning is absolutely thrilled. She's heard all about the legendary top-ranked student and wants her there immediately. She's even planning to use Yuyu as a study drill sergeant to make sure the girls actually do their homework during the break. Kai Tang texts back a yes, but adds a very important disclaimer: "Don't bring a lot of homework, thanks." When winter camp finally ends, our girl is there waiting to pick up her favorite genius. Yuyu arrives looking as composed as ever, and Kai Tang greets her with a cheeky joke about how long she took to arrive. Once they are all piled into the car, Auntie Ning starts the interrogation about the math competition. Yuyu tries to stay humble, saying she doesn't always get first place, but mom is already in full nourishment mode. She drags them to the supermarket, loading up on chicken and fish because she thinks Yuyu is way too skinny from all that brain work. Zhang Meng is over here complaining that even she doesn't get this kind of royal treatment. As they walk back with their arms full of groceries, Yuyu looks at the warm, chaotic scene and realizes that this might just be the best place she could have spent her vacation. Auntie Ning's cooking is so good, I'm so full. Zhang Ning groans, patting her stomach after a legendary feast. But our poor heroine quickly realizes that there's no such thing as a free lunch. "Since you're all full and had enough to drink, then it's time to do chores," Auntie Ning announces with a terrifyingly bright smile. Apparently, the guest-free period before the new year is the perfect time for a deep clean of the baths. While the others are still processing the fact that they were bribed with food, our girl Yuyu is already on her knees scrubbing the wooden floors. "Don't just start working without saying a word," Zhang Ning yells, totally caught off guard by how sincere her friend is. Zhang Ning thinks Yuyu is just a sincere, easy-to-fool cinnamon roll. But Kai Tang knows the truth. She watches her friend, realizing that Yuyu isn't actually this easygoing with everyone. She's only like this when it comes to her. After an hour of intense labor, the entire place is literally sparkling. Successfully completed, the girls cheer, looking like a trio of exhausted bunnies. Drenched and tired, they decide the only way to recover is to soak in the hot springs. Kai Tang slips into the steaming water first, finally finding a moment of peace. "Ah, soothing," she sighs, closing her eyes. But then Yuyu joins her, and wait, is she wearing a shirt? Later that day, Kai Tang drags a reluctant Yuyu out for a walk in the snow. Yuyu is stressed, already talking about going back to solve practice questions. "It's winter break, can't you rest for just one day?" Kai Tang asks, frustrated by the constant pressure her friend puts on herself. She doesn't understand why Yuyu is in such a rush to grow up. But Yuyu has a secret reason for her obsession with success. She remembers seeing Kai Tang looking lonely and hurt in the past, drowning in melancholy. She clenches her fist, vowing to work harder so she can finally be someone Kai Tang can actually rely on. Kai Tang is the sole person that I want to help and share my life with, she resolves. Gathering her courage, Yuyu reaches out and grabs Kai Tang's hand in the snow. Once I get a job, I can support you, do you remember? She asks seriously. Kai Tang thinks she's joking, but Yuyu doesn't let go. However, the trauma of Kai Tang's parents' failed relationship hits her like a ton of bricks. She pulls her hand away, her expression turning cold. I don't want to become someone else's responsibility, she says quietly. I'd just be a burden to you. As the snow falls, Yuyu asks the question that's been on her mind. Kai Tang, once we become adults, will you leave home? She's clearly been planning their entire future, dreaming of going to the same school or even moving in together so they can take care of each other. She's so soft for her, thinking to herself how happy she is just being this close. But our girl Kai Tang is the queen of reality checks, telling her bluntly, you should work hard for yourself, not for me. It's a bit of a mood killer, and Yuyu immediately apologizes for the pressure. As the snow picks up, they head back, but not before Yuyu playfully covers Kai Tang's head to keep her dry, leaving Yuyu with a sweet, blushing smile. Back at the house, the cozy vibes are hiding some major underlying tension. Yuyu is actually taking a break from her legendary study sessions, which has the other girls completely floored. But Kai Tang, she is sitting there looking absolutely miserable, radiating don't talk to me energy. When the topic of future careers comes up, Kai Tang just brushes it off with a nope and heads straight to bed. The atmosphere is so heavy that the friends wonder if our girls are in the middle of a massive fight. Yuyu looks like she's about to cry, and for the rest of the trip, the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Kai Tang stays quiet, and Yuyu is so distracted she's actually listening to music instead of hitting the books. Their friends are literally sweating, feeling like they're stuck in the middle of a messy divorce. Fast forward to the first day of the new semester, and the friends are doing a full-on tactical vibe check as Kai Tang walks in. They're scanning her face for any signs of lingering drama, but she seems totally normal. Kai Tang even slams her homework onto the desk with a smug ha. She actually finished it. Okay, she mostly copied it from a group chat, but for her that's a massive win. Yuyu asks if she's still angry, and Kai Tang just plays it off with a smile. The friends are finally able to relax, thinking the storm has passed. But hold on, because a new challenger has appeared. The teacher introduces a transfer student, Youyu. This guy has zero survival instincts because he immediately points at Kai Tang and declares, I want to sit with her. Turns out these two are old middle school gaming buddies who used to pull all-nighters at internet cafes. He's a total goofball with trashy grades who only got into the school because his family is loaded. He even brags about being the literal bottom of the class. Kai Tang tells him to get lost, but he eventually wins her over by offering her snacks during break. The other girls are dying for the tea, but Kai Tang insists they're just ex-gaming buddies and nothing more. However, Meng is about to spill the real secrets. He tells the group that Kai Tang's grades only started getting better because of a certain situation back in middle school. I'll have to start the story from the first year of middle school, he says with a smirk, getting ready to reveal the origin story of our stubborn heroine. This woman didn't just teach, she verbally abused anyone who wasn't a top student, calling them mouse droppings that ruined the whole pot. The environment was toxic, with students getting hit and yelled at for simply not passing easy tests. The teacher even told them they might as well drop dead if their brains weren't fully developed. Tired of the noise, our girl Kai Tang decided to lock in and study just to shut the teacher up. She became #1 in the class, and suddenly the teacher was using her as a weapon to call everyone else scum of society. But Kai Tang wasn't having it. She looked that teacher in the eye and said, I can become top of my class, but I just don't want to study. She told her straight up that the only reason she was disgusted with school was because of a teacher like her. Her current classmates are still in awe of that legendary story. They realize she only got those grades out of spite, making her a total icon in their eyes. Yuyu, our studious girl with the braid, watches Kai Tang and notices how much she's changed. She seems so much softer now, like someone finally reached her heart and calmed her wild side. A transfer student named Youyu has joined the class, and while he seems helpful, he's a bit of a snake. He tries to act all chummy by offering Kai Tang food, but she tells him to beat it without a second thought. He's determined to get under her skin, so he corners Yuyu in the hallway to interrogate her about their friendship. He tries to play the old friend card, claiming he and Kai Tang used to stay up all night talking online. He even tries to bait Yuyu into letting Kai Tang skip class to go to an internet cafe, acting like he's doing her a favor. Kai Tang walks up right as he's spewing his nonsense. He tries to act like he's helping her escape Yuyu's control, hoping to trigger her rebellious streak. But our girl sees right through his trashy behavior. I don't want to go. If you want to go, go by yourself, she snaps, calling him out for trying to drag others down. She even calls him crazy when he tries to claim they're still friends. She grabs Yuyu's hand and leaves him standing there like the loser he is. Later, Yuyu worries about Kai Tang going to internet cafes alone at night because it's unsafe. She surprises everyone by saying, "Then the next time you go, I'll come with you." Our heroine is shook. Is the top student really suggesting they sneak out? That's how the whole dorm finds themselves creeping out of school at midnight for a little late-night adventure. While everyone else is gaming or watching movies, Yuyu stays true to her brand. Kai Tang looks over and realizes Yuyu is actually researching career paths and future schools in the middle of a gaming cafe. Our girl is speechless at the sheer dedication of her desk mate. By 4 a.m., the group is starving and needs a snack break. While getting drinks at the convenience store, that annoying guy tries to badmouth Yuyu again, calling her a letdown because she doesn't play games. "Don't spout nonsense," Kai Tang screams, slamming the fridge door in his face. As they walk back in the sunrise, she pulls Yuyu aside. She tells her to ignore that guy completely, and Yuyu just gives her a sweet, compliant, all right as they head back to sleep off their all-nighter. In the hallway, the gossip mill is spinning at full speed as students wonder why Meng Qinghua keeps pestering our girl. They're whispering about whether he transferred just to reconcile with her, but Kai Tang isn't having any of it. She looks at him with pure disgust, knowing exactly what kind of game he's playing. The rumors are getting wild, with some even claiming he's her ex-boyfriend. Kai Tang is absolutely fed up, calling him a bastard who just loves to pull little tricks and make things up. She explains to her friends that there is something seriously wrong with this guy. Apparently, he has a pattern. Whenever she gets close to someone, he starts pursuing that person to mess with her head. Her friends are stunned to hear that his last two girlfriends were her previous desk mates. Since Kai Tang doesn't hang out with guys, he hasn't been able to use that tactic on her male friends yet. But now everyone is worried that Yuyu is his next target. Yuyu remembers Kai Tang's warning to keep her distance, and it's finally starting to click why. The girls realize that if he tried to pursue Kai Tang directly, he'd be dead meat. So he resorts to these shady, roundabout tactics instead. Kai Tang finds the whole thing disgusting, calling him out for his shady behavior. She tells her friends to just keep a lookout and avoid getting close to him. While the others head off to play badminton, Yuyu stays behind to process everything. Kai Tang joins her and they sit together as Kai Tang opens up about her past. She admits she used to be a loner with a horrible temper, and Meng was the only one who stayed by her side back then. They used to be part of a group of 4. But Meng ruined everything by pursuing his friend's girlfriend. That was the breaking point that split their group apart. The deskmate even accused Kai Tang of trying to steal her boyfriend, leading to a massive argument. Kai Tang lost all her friends and felt like she was the one in the wrong, even though she did nothing. Yuyu gently pats her shoulder, offering the silent support our girl needs. Kai Tang tells Yuyu to be careful, but Yuyu is a total queen. "He can come at me if he has the guts," she says, making it clear she won't fall for his tricks. Yuyu knows she's different from his previous targets. He tries to act all sweet, offering lollipops to both Kai Tang and Yuyu. Yuyu doesn't even look at him, coldly telling him to give them all to Kai Tang. Kai Tang snatches them up, telling him to just hand them over. She then immediately gives one to Yuyu so they have matching ones, completely ignoring Meng's efforts. It's a total power move. Kai Tang notices the look on his face and tells him to stop wasting his effort because Yuyu won't be baited. She hopes he'll finally give it a break. But the guy is relentless. He tries to act like a struggling student, asking Yuyu to teach him because he's failing. Yuyu, being 3 steps ahead, tells him she already talked to the teacher about his confusion. She informs him that the teacher expects him in her office tonight for remedial lessons. Kai Tang can't help but laugh at his stunned expression. Later, Yuyu is walking alone when a basketball slams against the fence near her. It's Meng again, asking where she's going. She tells him she's heading to the office and shuts down his attempt to follow her. His friends even tell him to give up because Yuyu only cares about her studies. But as he drinks his water, Meng's inner monologue reveals he thinks she's just pretending to be uninterested. During self-study, he starts pestering them about Yuyu's birthday in May. Kai Tang tells him to mind his own business. He starts imagining what to get her: perfume, jewelry, or lipstick. He even has the audacity to ask Kai Tang what she gave her for reference. Kai Tang delivers the ultimate roast. "I gave her a bra. If you have the guts to send her that, the police will arrest you for indecency immediately." She then reports him to the class president for interrupting her study time. Meng is forced back to his seat, but he doesn't stop there. He sneaks up and drops a heart-sealed love letter on Yuyu's desk. The other girls are losing their minds, wanting to see what the crazy guy wrote. Kai Tang refuses to touch it since it's for Yuyu. When Yuyu returns, she finds the letter and reads it with Kai Tang peeking over. Kai Tang mocks it for being a cliché mess probably stolen from the internet. But instead of throwing it away, Yuyu says she's giving it to the teacher. Kai Tang is impressed by the absolute savagery. Sure enough, the teacher summons Meng to the office. He's stuck there for 2 whole periods, and Kai Tang thinks it's exactly what he deserves. When he finally returns, he's fuming, asking why she had to get the teacher involved over a little love letter. Yuyu looks him dead in the eye and says she let the teacher handle it precisely because there is no such matter between them. Kai Tang twists the knife, telling him he just doesn't get the same treatment as others. Meng storms off in a huff, but Kai Tang is still suspicious about what he's really trying to do. Yuyu, meanwhile, is literally reading a book on psychological analysis. She's out here playing chess while he's playing checkers. 2 days later, the creep decides to escalate. As Yuyu is walking home at night, a hand suddenly grabs her arm. It's Meng, and he's dropped the nice guy act. He looms over her with a dark expression. "You already know what I want to say to you, right, Yuyu?" He demands, cornering our girl in the dark. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife as this creep, Meng Kinghua, corners our girl Yuyu in the dark. He's got the audacity to look her in the eye and tell her he knows she's poor. He actually thinks he's doing her a favor by offering her a weekly allowance and nice clothes if she just agrees to be his girlfriend. "Even if you don't like me, you're not losing out on anything," he says with a smirk that makes my skin crawl. But our girl isn't some damsel in distress looking for a sugar daddy. She looks him dead in the face and tells him exactly what he is, sick in the head. She sees right through his pathetic little games. "You want me to be your girlfriend just to cause a rift between me and Kai Tang," she declares, exposing his plan to isolate and control her best friend. She tells him to go see a doctor before he hurts anyone else. The look of pure shock in his eyes is priceless. He loses his cool immediately, screaming, "What the F***ck did you say?" But Yuyu doesn't blink, telling him his behavior disgusts her. He starts barking about who she thinks she is, but our girl is done talking. Before he can even process it, smack, she clocks him right in the face with the spine of her heavy book, sending his glasses flying. Of course, the violence lands them straight in the teacher's office. Ki is fuming, demanding to know why they were brawling like animals. Both of them stay silent at first, but the teacher isn't letting it go. When pressured, the snake Meng Kinghua spins a total lie, claiming he just wrote a love letter to tease her and she overreacted. He's betting that Yuyu won't want to drag Kai Tang into the drama, and he's right. Our poor heroine just nods along to the lie to end the nightmare. Ki orders them both to write a massive self-reflection essay, but she senses something is off. Once that loser leaves the room, she tells Yuyu that she can speak freely and that she won't tell anyone. Our girl keeps her guard up, insisting it was just an impulsive hit, but she appreciates the concern as Ki warns her never to resort to violence again. As Yuyu leaves the office, she finds the trash king waiting for her. He's nursing a bruised face and a bruised ego, warning her to just wait because he's not done with her. When she finally gets back to the dorm, her roommates are in a panic, asking if she's hurt. She tries to play it cool, while the girls rightfully label Meng as absolute trash. But over in the corner, Kai Tang is sitting in total silence, and you can practically see the dark aura radiating off her. She promises she won't hop out the window to hunt him down in the middle of the night, but we all know that's a lie. The scene shifts to the basketball court. Meng is sitting on the sidelines, whining about how dirty Yuyu fights. Suddenly, the real boss appears. Kai Tang towers over him, asking if he's the one who hit her friend. He tries to play the victim, showing off his bruises. But Kai Tang isn't there for a chat. She winds up and delivers a brutal punch straight to his gut. She starts absolutely unloading on him, and when he tries to shove her back, the entire girl gang sees it. This guy is beating up our Kai Tang. They scream, and it is officially over for him. They swarm him like a pack of angry hornets, using badminton rackets to give him the thrashing of a lifetime. Yuyu arrives just in time to see the dust cloud of justice, realizing she can't even squeeze in to get a hit in. Back in the office again, this time with the whole squad. Kai Tang just tells the teacher he was an eyesore. Ki is at her wit's end, handing out even more essays and threatening to call their parents. As the girls walk back, they're laughing about how trashy he is, while Kai Tang offers to find an essay template for everyone as a thank you. Later, Yuyu worries that Meng will try to retaliate, but Kai Tang is unfazed. "I'm not afraid of a coward," she says. Yuyu realizes that despite her cold exterior, Kai Tang is the most loyal, kind-hearted person she knows. But our villain hasn't learned his lesson. Meng is now a social pariah. The guys won't let him play basketball, and the girls ignore his pathetic attempts to bribe them with books. He overhears people in the bathroom calling him a fake and a loser, and he finally snaps. He corners Yuyu in the hall, blaming her for his ruined reputation and telling her to watch her back. This creep goes full villain mode, meeting up with some shady thugs and handing over a stack of cash. He's planning something dark for the upcoming Labor Day holiday. Meanwhile, Kai Tang is planning a birthday surprise for Yuyu, wanting to buy her a new pair of glasses. She heads home for the break, only to find her pregnant stepmother has already given birth. The atmosphere at home is suffocating, especially when she realizes her dad is out playing happy family. She can't stand it and decides to head back to the school dorms immediately. Back at the school, the thugs are lurking in the shadows outside the dorm. They've got rope and a map of the security cameras provided by Meng. They know Yuyu is alone, and one of them even suggests going all the way since they're already there. Inside, Yuyu is just finishing up some chores when a sudden aggressive knock echoes through the room. Kai Tang has just arrived back, and both girls look toward the door in confusion. "Who's there?" they call out, but there's no reply. Thinking it might be a prank from their roommates, Kai Tang reaches for the handle. Her hand grips the cold metal, unaware that absolute terror is waiting on the other side. Suddenly, a heavy banging echoes against the door. Our girl Kai Tang freezes, her heart hammering against her ribs as she cautiously asks, "Who is it?" There's no answer, just an eerie silence that makes her wonder if someone is playing a sick prank. As she reaches for the handle, completely unaware that on the other side, two thugs are lurking with a coil of rope, their heavy panting filling the hallway. Kai Tang's blood runs cold when she hears that ragged breathing. "Who exactly are you?" she screams. "I'll shout for help if you don't answer." Outside, the cowards panic, realizing they've been spotted. But Kai Tang isn't alone. Her roommate Yuyu is already on the move, shouting that she's calling the police. Suddenly, a piercing emergency alarm blares through the dorm. Wee woo wee woo. The thugs don't wait around for the cuffs, they bolt down the hallway like the rats they are. While Yuyu stays on the line with the dispatchers, Kai Tang isn't about to let them get away that easily. She grabs a broom like a literal warrior and charges out. "There's a thief, catch them," she bellows, chasing them down the stairs. Yuyu managed to catch up and grab her arm, pleading, "Kai Tang, don't go." She warns our girl that these creeps might be desperate and armed, and it's not worth her life. Justice comes fast, though. All four hooligans are rounded up by the police. The mastermind behind this, none other than that piece of trash Meng Qingyu. At the station, he has the audacity to look the officer in the eye and claim he just wanted to teach her a lesson. "Assault? I didn't, I just wanted to scare her a little," he whines. The officer isn't buying his sob story, especially not after seeing the rope, the pills, and the literal knife they confiscated. Because he's a minor and has a daddy's money lawyer, Meng gets off with a fine and a trip home. But the court of public opinion is way more brutal. Back at school, the students aren't having it. "Trash, get out of our school," they scream as he walks down the hall, pelted by trash and insults. Kai Tang finds him one last time, her gaze icy. She asks him if he really thought those gangsters would stop at just scaring her. He tries to play dumb, but Kai Tang shuts him down instantly. "I don't believe you," she spits. She reveals she heard him months ago bragging about how he wanted to see her arrogance crushed. He's stunned that she knew all along, but she simply tells him to never cross her path again. With that toxic weight gone, life finally returns to normal. It's Yuyu's birthday, and the girls shower her with gifts. That night, Yuyu finds a special surprise tucked under her pillow. It's a sleek new pair of glasses from Kai Tang. Yuyu clutches the case to her chest, whispering a soft thank you to her best friend. The piece continues as their friend Zia Yuanyuan begs Kai Tang to sing for a cover competition. Our girl is shy, but after some epic puppy dog eyes, she finally gives in. They set up a classroom for the shoot, and Kai Tang trades her baggy tracksuit for a crisp school uniform and skirt. "Wow, how pretty," Yuanyuan squeals. Even the usually composed Yuyu can't look away, admitting she looks amazing. The music starts, and Kai Tang begins to play the ukulele. As her voice fills the golden, sunlit room, everyone is mesmerized. The video is an absolute bombshell, racking up over 1 million views and winning them first prize. Summer break arrives, and while Kai Tang heads off for competition in the city, she promises Yuyu she'll be back in just a few days. But the homecoming Kai Tang expected turns into a living nightmare. She arrives at her family's villa to find the lights off and the house eerily empty. She feels a sting of sadness, thinking her father forgot about her again. But then she smells it, a metallic thick scent. Her eyes widen in horror as she sees dark, red droplets trailing across the floor. She follows the trail and finds a body slumped in the kitchen, surrounded by a pool of blood. Kai Tang gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. "Whose hand is that?" she trembles. Suddenly, a voice drips from the shadows behind her. "Why did you come back without telling me?" She spins around to find a man standing there, his face twisted in a manic shadow, clutching a blood-stained knife. "He killed her stepmother." Kai Tang tries to bolt, but he's faster, grabbing her by the collar. Meanwhile, under a gray, rainy sky, Yuyu is staring at her phone with a sinking feeling in her gut. She's trying to study, but the silence from Kai Tang is deafening. Looking out the window, she wonders if her friend is just having another argument with her father. She sends a text asking if she's awake and if she's eaten. Kai Tang sees her phone vibrating on the floor just out of reach. "I'm not dead yet," she thinks, her spirit refusing to break even now. In the other room, her father is pacing and smoking, justifying his crimes by claiming his victim deserved to die. He's already thinking of how to dispose of the evidence when Yuyu's name flashes on Kai Tang's phone screen. With a brutal crunch, he stomps the device into pieces under his boot. Suddenly, a knock at the door shatters the tension. A neighbor calls out, asking if anyone is home. Kai Tang's eyes light up with a desperate hope it's the neighbor. She thrashes against her bonds, trying to make any sound she can. Outside, the neighbors are suspicious, noting that someone should be home taking care of the kid. The father, sweating bullets, screams through the door for them to scram and stop making a fuss. He bangs on the door to scare them off. And for a moment, it works as the neighbors walk away, feeling uneasy. He looks at his daughter with pure malice, asking if she's trying to send her own father to his death. 2 days pass in an agonizing blur. Yuyu is on a bus, her heart heavy with dread because Kai Tang hasn't replied in 48 hours. She watches her teacher, MS Ki, handle a frantic phone call before they both hurry off the bus. MS Ki tells Yuyu she has to head back to Nanlin immediately. Did something happen to Kai Tang? Yuyu asks, her voice trembling. The teacher's face is grim as she explains that there's an issue with Kai Tang's family and the girl is currently in the hospital. Yuyu refuses to leave her side, insisting on going back right now. At the Nanlin City Hospital, a police officer explains the grim reality. Kai Tang's father murdered someone, and the neighbor called the police just in time to save our girl. The monster has been arrested, but Kai Tang is all alone with no one to care for her. Yuyu steps into the hospital room and finds Kai Tang lying still in the bed, her face bruised and pale. The sight of her friend so broken nearly destroys Yuyu. She reaches out, gently taking Kai Tang's hand. Tears stream down Yuyu's face as she whispers a prayer of thanks that her friend is still alive. Later, the doctor explains that Kai Tang has a moderate concussion and needs plenty of rest. Yuyu stays by her side, watching over her as she sleeps. When Kai Tang finally opens her eyes, Yuyu's first thought is for her trauma. Kai Tang, have you been scared these past 2 days? She asks softly. She offers her some warm porridge, but the quiet moment is interrupted by the clicking of high heels. A glamorous woman bursts into the room, crying out Kai Tang's name. This is Kai Tang's mother, who explains she was on vacation and had her phone off, which is why she's only showing up now. Yuyu is stunned. Kai Tang had never even mentioned her mother before. The woman starts ranting about how she always knew the father, Kai Zhang, was crazy and might kill someone one day. Kai Tang remains cold, withdrawing her hand from her mother's touch. When Yuyu offers the mother some water, the woman asks who she is. I'm Kai Tang's classmate, Yuyu replies simply. The mother, clearly more interested in her own life, mentions she's too busy to stay and will just hire a caregiver. Do whatever you want, Kai Tang says, her voice flat and hollow. The mother orders food for them, but when Kai Tang sees the tray of braised pork, she begins to gag. The sight of the meat triggers a violent flashback to the blood and the bodies. She starts vomiting uncontrollably, leaving her mother looking shocked and slightly repulsed. Yuyu immediately jumps into action, telling the mother to take the meat away because Kai Tang can't handle it. As the mother leaves to find a doctor, the dam finally breaks. Kai Tang begins to sob, gasping out a desperate don't. She throws her arms around Yuyu, wailing with a grief that has been bottled up for years. It's the first time Yuyu has ever seen her so utterly distraught. Kai Tang confesses through her tears that she has hated her father since junior high because of the constant beatings he gave her. She describes the sheer terror she felt when he walked toward her that day. Yuyu holds her tight, stroking her hair and whispering, "Don't be scared, it's over now." In that moment, Yuyu makes a silent vow that nothing will ever make Kai Tang cry like this again. As July brings its unbearable heat, the mother never returns. Kai Tang dismisses the nurses and refuses all visitors, leaving only Yuyu by her side. Yuyu brings a basin of water, asking if Kai Tang needs help wiping down her body. Kai Tang quietly agrees. As Yuyu helps her, she sees the horrific map of scars and bruises covering Kai Tang's back. Did he cause the wounds on your back as well? She asks, her heart breaking all over again. Kai Tang tries to downplay it, saying she just rammed into something, but she admits the pain makes it impossible to sleep on her stomach. Yuyu gently wipes her skin with a warm cloth. What's there to be embarrassed about? We're both girls, Yuyu replies, though her own face is starting to heat up. Kai Tang turns away, her face bright red, muttering that she'll handle the rest. Yuyu retreats to the sink, her own heart racing as she splashes water on her face. She stares at her reflection, wondering why on earth she's blushing so hard. Yuyu has been by our girl's side every single day in the hospital, and Kai Tang is starting to feel a little guilty. I'm just worried your grades will drop if you don't study, Kai Tang mumbles, but Yuyu just gives her that top-of-the-class stare. She hits her with the ultimate flex, basically saying that if you actually know the material, a few days off won't hurt a bit. Our girl can only stare back in stunned silence because, honestly, how do you even argue with that level of academic confidence? To lighten the mood, Yuyu starts reading aloud all the get-well-soon messages from their friends. Why Jai is being extra dramatic, claiming he can't live without her, and Kai Tang is just lying there thinking, someone please save me from this cringe. She tells them all to stop being so corny, but you can see the faint blush on her face. She's definitely recovering. It's a rare moment of peace for our heroine. But the hospital peace is shattered when Kai Tang overhears the nurses gossiping at the front desk. They're whispering about how her father is a lunatic murderer and how she witnessed the whole thing. Kai Tang freezes in her tracks, the trauma rushing back in an instant. Before the panic can take root, Yuyu reaches out and firmly grabs her hand, pulling her away from the toxic whispers. Those nurses realize they were caught being messy and immediately look like they want to vanish. Once they're outside in the fresh air, Yuyu gently asks if she's still feeling dizzy. Kai Tang tries to put on a brave face, but the weight of the future is heavy. When Yuyu asks where she wants to go once she's discharged in a week, Kai Tang looks up at the sky and simply says, "No, I don't know." The next morning, Yuyu arrives at the hospital only to find an empty bed. Kai Tang left on her own, sending a message that she's going to find her mother and will be back when school starts. But our girl isn't actually going to her mom's. She's running away to a place where nobody knows her name or her past. She wanders through unfamiliar city streets at night, a lone soul with a backpack. She stops to watch a street performer, and the guy notices her looking down in the dumps. He invites her up to sing, telling her to just treat it like karaoke to blow off some steam. Even though she's wary of strangers, Kai Tang eventually agrees. She takes the mic and pours her heart into a song called Bakel Lake. Her voice is so hauntingly beautiful that the entire crowd stops to listen. The performer is stunned, realizing he just let a hidden gem take the stage. As she finishes, the crowd goes wild and the guy gives her a parting bit of wisdom. Little lady, all things will come to pass. Kai Tang starts to type a reply about her new experience singing for strangers, but she deletes it all. She decides to keep her journey a secret, aimlessly wandering from city to city, meeting other street musicians who share their tea and their kindness. At night, she dreams of Yuyu, the only person who truly understands the storm inside her. Weeks pass and Yuyu is back in her room, wondering if Kai Tang is eating well or if her head still hurts. She stares at her phone, waiting for a sign of life. Suddenly it buzzes. A friend tells her to check the group chat immediately. There in a viral video is Kai Tang singing her heart out on a street corner. Yuyu's heart sinks as she realizes Kai Tang lied. She's not with her mother, she's been wandering the country alone this whole time. Yuyu has to count to 100 just to keep from spiraling into a panic. She watches more videos of our girl playing a guitar and singing about growing closer to someone. The lyrics are so personal that Yuyu begins transcribing them into her notebook as the rain pours outside. She sends one last message into the void, I wonder where you are right now. Meanwhile, Kai Tang is in a much sunnier place, rocking a brand new guitar. She plays for a little kid eating watermelon, finally looking like she's found some semblance of peace. She even treats herself to some watermelon, sitting under a tree and just existing without the shadow of her father hanging over her. When her phone rings, she actually smiles. Summer break finally draws to a close, and it's time for the third year of high school to begin. Yuyu sits in class, her heart heavy as she looks at the empty seat beside her. The teacher is giving a big speech about how important this year is, but no one is paying attention. Suddenly, the door creaks open. Present, a familiar voice calls out. It's Kai Tang. She's back looking refreshed and carrying her guitar case. Yuyu doesn't even care that they are in the middle of a lesson. She hears the chair screech as she stands up. And before Kai Tang can even put her bag down, Yuyu throws her arms around her in a massive, desperate hug. Our girl is finally home. You've finally shown yourself. Her friends cheer, swarming her the second she steps back into the classroom. Our girl Kai Tang is finally back, but the atmosphere isn't all sunshine and rainbows. The teacher, Ms. Ki, reminds the class that their third year is the most important one for their future, before specifically asking Kai Tang to see her in the office later. Of course, the classroom vultures can't keep their mouths shut, whispering about the incident where her father supposedly murdered her stepmother. They note how much thinner she looks, but our heroine tries to tune out the poison. Her deskmat and academic leader, Yuyu, isn't interested in the gossip, though. She's already gone ahead and tidied Kai Tang's bed in the dorms, even offering to help her get medical leave if she's too tired to stay. Kai Tang can only offer a quiet thank you for the messages she was too overwhelmed to reply to. But there's no time for a deep heart-to-heart because the teacher drops a bombshell, a surprise test. Our girl is internally screaming because she hasn't revised a single subject in 2 months. As everyone struggles, the impartial and honest Yuyu does something totally out of character. She slides her test paper over, letting Kai Tang copy her answers. Kai Tang is shook. Her perfect friend is literally throwing her principles out the window just to save her. Later, Kai Tang is too embarrassed to even look at her own failing answers. But Yuyu just smiles and says she'll be the one marking the papers anyway. It's official, Yuyu is lowering her moral bar every year just for our girl. Back at the dorms, the rest of the squad isn't letting her off easy, ganging up on her with a tickle torture session for ignoring their holiday invites. My bed is about to collapse. Yuyu cries, trying to play protector while the girls celebrate Kai Tang's return with a soda toast. For the first time in a long time, Kai Tang feels like everything is back to normal. However, Yuyu notices that even though she's smiling, the incident has left a deep scar on Kai Tang's heart. As they walk through the halls holding hands, Yuyu silently hopes that time will fill the emptiness left behind. By the weekend, the other roommates head home, leaving the two of them alone in the sweltering heat of the dorm. As they lay in their bunks with only a fan spinning, the tension is thick. Kai Tang reaches down from the top bunk and their fingers meet in the dark. Yuyu, are we friends? She asks softly. Yuyu confirms they are, but Kai Tang pushes further. Am I the same as the other girls to you? The answer is a firm no. Kai Tang finally gathers her courage. Do you feel the same way as me? When Yuyu says yes, the confession hangs beautifully in the air. The room is boiling, their palms are sweating, and the physical distance between the bunks feels like miles. Kai Tang can't take it anymore and hops down from the top bunk, nearly giving Yuyu a heart attack. They sit together on the bottom mat, the scent of floral water and unspoken feelings filling the space. Do you think it's weird to be liked by a girl? Kai Tang asks, her heart thumping loud enough to hear. Yuyu looks her in the eye and says, it's not weird. As their hearts race in sync, Yuyu realizes she doesn't even remember when she started liking Kai Tang. She just remembers being alone and powerless until Kai Tang crashed into her life and gave her courage. Every happy high school memory she has is tied to this girl. Yuyu thinks back to a PE lesson where a shuttlecock hit her head and Kai Tang smiled at her. In that moment, Kai Tang became the most charming girl in the world to her. Back in the present, Kai Tang admits that all those love songs she used to sing on the streets finally make sense now that she's thinking of Yuyu. I'm copying your answer again, Kai Tang whispers, referring back to the test. Yuyu, being a total dork, asks, what answer, math? Kai Tang just laughs, calling her a fool as she blushes furiously. They decide to share the bottom bunk for the night, falling asleep while tightly holding hands, knowing that from today on, everything is different. Our girl just shakes her head, explaining that the teacher is busy, so she'll be sticking around for some self-study. But let's be real, the atmosphere between her and Kai Tang is getting thick enough to cut with a knife. Kai Tang is actually putting in the work for once, and when she finishes her assignment, she slides it over like, I'm done, help me mark it. Of course, the third wheel in the room can't help but chime in, teasing them about showing favoritism and demanding they all study together. She even jokes that Yuyu shouldn't just focus on tutoring Kai Tang, since they're all students who deserve equal treatment. Yuyu just gives a little embarrassed smile, but internally she's already a goner. Whether it's discreetly catching a moth that landed on Kai Tang's back, or fanning her while she naps at her desk, she's doing the absolute most. They're even sharing ice cream in the halls, looking so sweet it's basically a dental hazard. One of their friends literally sniffs the air like, do I smell oranges? Which is basically code for I smell a romance brewing. The vibes are so obvious that even during lunch, when Yuyu is busy picking out fish bones for her, the rest of the table is just watching them in silence. Their friends are whispering about the fragrance of lilies in the air, wondering if these two have any idea how loud they're being. But drama is always lurking around the corner in these stories. The teacher calls Yuyu into the office to discuss a direct admission offer to a top university. It's a guaranteed ticket to a successful future with zero risk. But Yuyu doesn't even blink before turning it down. The teacher is stunned, asking for her reasoning. Yuyu plays it safe, saying she hasn't picked a major and wants to finish her final year with her friends. But her inner thoughts tell the real story. She wants to be with Kai Tang. She refuses to go anywhere that would take her too far away from her girl. The teacher respects the choice, unaware that she's witnessing the power of high school pining. Back in class, the teacher hands back the math test papers and notices something odd on Kai Tang's sheet. Why are there two flowers drawn beside your name? She asks, teasing that Yuyu must have been feeling particularly enthusiastic while marking it. Kai Tang is absolutely mortified, realizing Yuyu is being way too obvious. Both of them are blushing like crazy, trying to act like it's no big deal. But then Kai Tang notices some weird letters scribbled on the corners of her stack of papers. Yuyu tries to play it off as casual scribbling, but Kai Tang isn't buying it. She flips through the pages and her heart nearly stops when she sees the hidden message. Love you forever. Our poor heroine is stunned into silence, realizing this quiet girl just used test papers to pull off a full-blown confession. The fluff is short-lived though. In October, the heavy stuff hits. Kai Tang receives a notice that her father has been sentenced to death for murder. She's a total wreck, and Yuyu immediately goes into protector mode, helping her skip study sessions to rest in the dorm. Kai Tang finally breaks down, the tears flowing as the weight of it all hits her. Yuyu just pulls her into a tight hug, whispering, don't be sad anymore, it's okay. Kai Tang admits that while she's glad the man can't hurt anyone anymore, she feels like a total orphan now. She wipes her eyes and sits up, looking at the one person who stayed. They share a deep hug, promising to stay together through university and even after graduation. Yuyu promises to take care of her forever, even when they are 96 years old. Life eventually returns to a new normal. During a night run on the track, their friends are complaining about how Kai Tang is so thin yet so fast. Yuyu is hovering like a helicopter parent, worried that Kai Tang gets fevers too easily. The friends take the hint and leave them alone to accompany each other. While they're walking, another teacher spots them and starts ranting about other asterisk students who are dating instead of studying. She praises our girls for being model students who are just exercising. The irony isn't lost on them. They feel like total traitors standing there being praised while secretly holding hands the second her back is turned. Winter break arrives and they head to a hotel for a little getaway. A family friend's mom welcomes them, fussing over how thin they've both become. She whips up a massive pot of chicken stew and Yuyu is back to her usual tricks, nervously watching Kai Tang eat every bite. Later, they take a walk through the falling snow. Kai Tang tells her she'll be fine soon and thanks her for being so gentle. The final piece of the father drama concludes when a lawyer hands Kai Tang her father's asset documents. After all the fines, there's only one house left in his name. As his only descendant, she inherits it all, giving her enough security to finish her education. Looking at Yuyu, Kai Tang realizes how fortunate she is to have someone who gives her so much courage. She promises to try and lose her temper less from now on. But Yuyu just smiles and says she actually thinks her temper is cute. Have you gone blind? Kai Tang scoffs, but Yuyu just pushes up her glasses and jokes that she's just nearsighted. They spend the afternoon cleaning up their space, enjoying the quiet comfort they fought so hard to find. The school hallways are buzzing with the latest tea, and it's a total tragedy. Apparently, a couple got caught dating, and poor Gao Ruijia, a top 100 student, had to drop out of school entirely. As the boy walks away with a bruised face, the students can't help but pity them. It's a harsh reminder of how strict things are, but Kai Tang doesn't seem to care for the gossip. She's focused on the girl next to her, Yuyu, as they sit in class together. Kai Tang slides a note across the desk that simply reads, "We're not like them." Yuyu looks at it, her heart likely skipping a beat as the note continues. "If they're marginalized, then we're invisible." With only 67 days left until college entrance exams, the pressure is on. Kai Tang is feeling the itch to slack off, complaining that she hasn't played games in forever. Yuyu, being the perfect student she is, tells her to wait until the exams are over. But when Kai Tang offers to play, then Yuyu gives her a playful reality check. "No, I won't play with you," she says. "I can't carry you, so we'll lose." When the monthly exam results are posted, the social hierarchy is clear. Yuyu is ranked first in their year. This clearly rubs some people the wrong way, especially the guy ranked second, Wang Mingsu, who can't stop glaring. Kai Tang isn't about to let that slide. She calls him out right in the middle of the hall, calling him a weak chicken who will never beat Yuyu. "Are you a sore loser?" she demands, getting right in his face. His friend tries to defuse the situation by asking if he actually has a crush on Yuyu, but he defensively shouts that his type would only be a top student. The drama follows them all the way to the teacher's office, where Ki has some concerns. Rumors are flying that Kai Tang is in a relationship, and the teacher warns them that this is a critical period for their studies. Kai Tang doesn't miss a beat. She guarantees there is zero possibility of her dating that loser Wang Mingsu. Back at their desks, Kai Tang is still fuming. "If anyone's dating, it'd be the two of us," she grumbles to Yuyu. Yuyu just stares at her, stunned, as Kai Tang continues to rant about why everyone thinks she likes that idiot. She grabs Yuyu's hands, making it very clear where her loyalties lie. "I only have a relationship with you," she declares. To blow off some steam, the class heads out for PE. It's supposed to be a time to relax, but Kai Tang decides to use badminton as a way to bully her favorite girl. She accidentally, or maybe not so accidentally, hits Yuyu right in the head with the shuttlecock. Another student, Sister Y, sees this and rushes over to avenge Yuyu. She puts an arm around Yuyu and promises to hit Kai Tang back, but Yuyu isn't having it. Our girl literally pushes her friend away, insisting that they were just playing around. After the game, the two share a quiet, intimate moment on the sidelines. They share a laugh, the tension of the exams and the rumors melting away for just a second. But Kai Tang has something else on her mind. She sneaks away to a makeup store, looking for the perfect gift for Yuyu's 18th birthday. She spots a specific shade of red lipstick that reminds her of ancient wedding colors and decides it's the one. Back at the dorm, Kai Tang nervously hides the gift under Yuyu's pillow. When Yuyu returns, she finds the package and realizes it's lipstick. Kai Tang plays it cool, but inside she's panicking, thinking she bought a straight man's gift that Yuyu might hate. She stands by the window, already planning how to make it up to her with a better gift next time. Suddenly, she hears a noise from the bathroom and realizes Yuyu is in there trying it on. Kai Tang walks in and sees Yuyu struggling with the application. "I'll help you put it on," Kai Tang offers, her voice softening. Yuyu hands over the lipstick and the space between them disappears. As Kai Tang leans in, Yuyu is reminded of an old anime where the lead would put on red tint before seeing her sweetheart. The expression of deep, unrestrained love is mirrored right here in the bathroom. "All done," Kai Tang whispers, but neither of them moves. They stare at each other, the air thick with everything they haven't said out loud. Kai Tang notices a spot that isn't even and leans in to fix it with her finger. The touch is electric. Kai Tang reaches out, grasping Yuyu's hand firmly. She approaches, closing the final gap between them. As the world outside fades away, the two finally share a long-awaited, tender kiss. We start with our girls sharing a moment so close you can almost feel the tension in the air. They're practically breathing the same oxygen as they gaze into each other's eyes, blushing like crazy. Kai Tang reaches out, her hand brushing against a lipstick. Slowly, she removes Yuyu's glasses, looking at her with such tenderness that my heart is doing backflips. "Happy birthday," she whispers, and the two share a beautiful, quiet embrace. This is the kind of pure, wholesome content we live for, people. The classroom becomes a war zone of textbooks and late-night studying as everyone prepares for the final hurdle. Before they know it, the teacher is standing at the front, announcing that the big day is tomorrow. She's actually being kind for once, telling them there's no evening self-study so they can rest their brains. One student is so used to the grind, she actually feels empty without the extra study time. "Girl, please take the win." To celebrate their last night together on campus, the class decides to have a little singing session. They ask Kai Tang if she's down, and our cool girl doesn't disappoint. Yeah, then I'll bring my guitar, she says with a chill vibe that makes everyone enthusiastic. As the teacher walks down the hallway, she hears a melody drifting from the classroom. Kai Tang is playing her heart out, singing lyrics about lush grass and the edges of the sky. It's a bittersweet moment, realizing that these close friends will soon be scattered to the wind. Even the teacher can't help but smile at the beautiful, fleeting joy of youth. The 3 days of exams fly by in a blur of pens and sweat. When the final bell rings, the school explodes into pure chaos. Papers are flying everywhere as students scream, it's finally over. Amidst the blizzard of flying homework, Kai Tang is looking for her person. She spots her from the window and calls out Yuyu. Yuyu looks up from the courtyard, surprised to see her girl smiling down from above. Kai Tang isn't just saying goodbye, she's making a promise. She holds out a red string with a ring attached and asks the big question, are you willing? Yuyu looks like she's seen a ghost, her heart probably stopping for a second. But then she gives the most beautiful smile and says, I'm willing. Kai Tang looks so relieved and happy, her eyes practically sparkling. Catch it, she says, dropping the rings down. As they tumble through the air, we see the engraving, asterisk love you forever asterisk. Yuyu reaches out with everything she's got. She catches the string, securing their bond as the final school bell rings across the sky. And just like that, their high school journey ends, but their forever is just beginning.